as you can see, another road game for your boy here. I've never had issues with power in my entire life, and now we've had power outages back-to-back weeks of shows here. So we're set up at my folks' place, buried in the downstairs office here. You got some nice pictures below, but here to bring you the goods nonetheless. We got two special guests for the winner's circle, but first things first, I know what you guys are thinking. There was an elite football game played last night. Everybody was watching it. Eyes were on 8.5-point dog. Montreal Alouettes in the Grey Cup. 110th edition of the Grey Cup. I know everybody was tuning in. How many Dawg Bowl seats were handed out at the Grey Cup last night, Nez?
You even lost our Badge Bros Brawl winner Naji on that one. Like you totally froze out his connection because he just look at him. You lost him, man. You lost. We're gonna leave this space open just for our man. But no, I when we met in Vegas, you informed me of some really awesome Canadian football nuances, and now I am actually a defender of the CFL. If anybody talks shit on the CFL, I'm very quick to not so fast my friend them and let them know that there are some rules that the NFL could learn from the CFL.
Well, let's say last night. Okay, so let me get this off my system.
Go ahead.
We got Dave hiding out here in the lower corner. He's our Dawg Bowl winner for the week here. We had Naji, who was the Badge Bros Brawl champion, who was hanging out in this other corner here. Hopefully we can get him back in there. I know he's having some Wi-Fi issues. But I just got to get this one off my chest to start here. Chad Kelly, the Chad Kelly, was the CFL MVP this year.
Chad Kelly himself.
Yeah, Mr. Irrelevant, Chad Kelly was the CFL MVP this year. Anyways, he lost in the East Final. And then last night, Colin Kaepernick's third string backup from Nevada marches them down the field for a game-winning drive. He throws a touchdown pass to the son of a CFL legend, 28-24 Alouettes. That's all that matters, boys. But on to the good stuff.
Yeah. Tell us something we don't know, man. Everybody knows that stuff. All right, we got Naji back. Naji, you good? Can I bring you back up front? All right. Yeah, he's ready. All right, hold on. Let's bring him up.
John, you scared him away.
I know, all that CFL talk.
You heard Chad Kelly and got out immediately.
So good.
What's up, Naji?
I'm doing good. Obviously, I'm a bit of a high after that big win on Sunday, but everything's going good. Yeah.
We doing all right with connection? Do you think we can? We're gonna be able to get you through to review your lineup?
I think so. I switched my phone, so I can't look at my lineups anymore because my laptop is crashed. But if you guys want to maybe pull it up on your screen, then I can look at it. But
yeah, for sure. Let's just get right into it, so that way we don't lose you again and give you your well-deserved airtime here. Here we go. Look at this. Here we go. Badge Bros Brawl, 3-person drafts, and you just absolutely crushed it with the Brock Purdy, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle double stack. Followed up with Jahmyr Gibbs, Tyreek Hill, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, just an absolute masterclass. Were you aiming for the Brock Purdy stacks in these, or was this just the way that this draft happened to turn out for you?
So my process going into this week, especially for the Badge Bros Brawls, I was pretty much autoing most of it. So I would go into the rooms. I set my first maybe 9 picks, and then I would just stack. I would just queue up the next 3. So I think if you look at this draft, I actually drafted Gibbs last because I just queued up Tyreek and I think Amon-Ra. I had 2 and 5, and then I just clicked the star next to Purdy, Ayuk, Kittle, and then autoed Gibbs at the very end without even looking. So I only ended up with 6 Purdy drafts.
Oh wow!
I don't think I ended up out of a total of 82. I had a lot of Josh Allen, Diggs, a lot of Stafford Cup, Kyler drafts that obviously didn't work out super well. So I got pretty lucky that one of my 6 Purdy drafts hit, but it was pretty good.
Yeah,
that's great, man. I got a question for you when you say the auto stuff, because I honestly wasn't familiar with your screen name and stuff, but you're clearly putting in some good volume. If you have an auto process like this, and you said you put in 82 or 83 of them into this contest, What's your normal like week look like for you? Like what's volume wise for you? Do you play a ton?
So believe it or not, this is my first year watching the NFL. I
I
I
love it.
got into this because my workplace decided to do a fantasy league. And just so you know how clueless I was at that point, I drafted Najee Harris in the 3rd round because I thought his name was cool. So not doing
Get
super
your
hot in that
ideas.
league.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
So did Nez, and he's been watching
Yeah.
football for years.
Yeah, so yeah, not doing so hot in that league, but I got I found your shows after doing just some like Googling and YouTube and stuff. And then I just sort of got kind of like addicted to the drafting and like the strategy aspect of it. So I've sort of like ramped it up over the past 12 weeks, and now I'd say usually either on Saturday or like Sunday morning, I'll probably spend like 3 or 4 hours just like pure drafting. And especially like for the Sunday night, like the primetime slates, I've also been doing quite a bit more of, and that's sort of what I've been enjoying.
That's awesome, man. That's great.
That is so cool. How are you doing in that work league after drafting Naji?
I think I'm 6-5, so it could be worse. I think some of the other people are, yeah, also pretty clueless. So yeah, it's going okay. I might make the playoffs. We'll see.
That's so awesome, man. I love, like, we had a couple shows ago a guy that won the Dawg Bowl, and it was his first time entering the Dawg Bowl, and he wasn't even sweating it. Found out that he won while doing laundry, and we've got you in here, clearly a sharp guy, but like only watching the NFL for like, has it been like a year since you've been like in the over, or less than a year?
Probably less than a year, just this season. So like whatever
that's
the 11 weeks.
That is absolutely amazing. Like this is such a testament to the platform, man. This is amazing. I love this. Congrats on the big win, dude.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks to you guys. I think going into this, like, and also having no background, like, it's pretty intimidating, but having you guys as like this show every week, multiple times a week, is very helpful and getting new people into the space.
Love it, man. Appreciate that a lot, because that's what when we set out to do this sort of thing, these are the kind of stories we were looking for, hoping for, right? Get someone interested in ball who wasn't previously interested, or provide them with the tools so that then they can, not necessarily even compete, but win in these contests, right? So the inaugural rake-free Badge Bros Brawl champion, big shouts, man.
Yeah.
Okay, but before you're welcome to stick around. But before we move on to Dave, we need to give you. Are you familiar with the winner circle?
Vaguely. I watched a few of them before, but I'm not really sure what's about to come next.
Oh, you're about to get the winner circle treatment, my friend. Here we go. Solo layout, and boom. Winners circle. This is prestigious, man. You need to just soak this in, take a screenshot, tell your
I'm screenshotting it right now.
This is a very big deal. You should be proud of yourself. This is awesome.
All right, amazing.
Congrats again, man. Go ahead, John.
That winner circle is extra special because it's also the first time someone under 10K has been allowed to be in the winner circle.
Oh.
Then we broke our own rules. The rule was always 10K or a seat or whatever. So we broke our own rules for our own contest. So
yeah, if you win our own contest, you get inaugurated in there. So congratulations. Let's talk about Dave's lineup here. Dave, I'm about to pull up your lineup. You, man, I know very well how much you deserved this seat in the Dawg Bowl. Having witnessed multiple bad beats, man, to see you get home is awesome. Let's get a couple zooms on here, and tell us about your week. What were your thoughts going into the week? Did you have a lot of Trevor Lawrence stacks going on?
Yeah, man. So kind of how I spread it out is like the second Dawg Bowl drops, I just try to rip like 10 to 15 just before the ADP gets too crazy. Didn't get any T-Law there, but I mean, last week, like I told you and Crutch, is kind of like my hot take for the week was that T-Law is going to break the slate. It's up against the Niners, and obviously that was a fucking dog shit take. But hey, a week later, it came into fruition. So that kind of was in the back of my head. And I knew like this is the guy we're drafting like round 6, 7, 8 all off season, and we know he had spike weeks, especially like the second half of last season. So against this Tennessee secondary is just a spot I wanted to attack. And yeah, I ended up having, looking at my exposures right here, I have T-Law as my 5th highest owned QB among the BRs and the Dawg Bowls. So yeah,
that's a pretty good stand.
Yeah, so I felt pretty good about T-Law. I knew I felt good about Ridley early in the week, and then when I saw the Zay Jones news, I kind of like really hammered that in. Not sure. I'm sure it's just like a small sample and just like a bunch of noise, but his splits with Zay Jones in and out are pretty drastic, and I don't know if that's because he's running like less like deep shots and like more intermediate stuff. But once I saw that, I started hammering Ridley. I mean, he was free in all these drafts, so it's hammering him a bunch. And a U call came from Karain. I saw he was really high on him, and it just, I knew one of the Niners was probably going to break the slate, just facing a Tampa team that has like a high PROE against. And yeah, man, everything else was kind of just like based off ADP. Something that was kind of significant was Keenan Allen fell to, I think, pick 11 to me in this draft. So like ETN, A-Chain, Gibbs, they all went ahead of him. And I believe, I don't remember quite well, but I believe this was like early Sunday morning, probably like 6 a.m. Sunday. Like a bunch of badges in there. So that was pretty nice because he had a Q tag, right? Or
early in the week. That's what I was going to ask. When you said that he fell to 11, I just kind of instantly assumed it was early in the week because of the Q tag thing. Because some of my like the $5 entry one combos that you got with Keenan Allen early in the week was like with CMC and stuff like that because he was falling. So I just kind of like assumed that took place for you here.
Yeah. No, I think this was actually early Sunday morning. I think he still had the Q tag, but obviously really happy he fell because I had him a little higher in my ranks. But honestly, I was like super overexposed Cup. Like I was taking Cup over Keenan almost like every time I could. And it kind of just ran pure where like one of my few lineups that did have Keenan ended up binking.
I was all over Keenan too this week. That one really hurt, but it's funny, man. Like you feel, I mean, I don't know how you feel, but like whenever I won, I felt like I was just like, ran really pure, kind of like for a minute, I was just like, man, I just got really lucky, but like you having been so close, like so many times, like you kind of understand the way that like things have to break sometimes to get home. And like you said, like Keenan over Cup wasn't necessarily like a big part of the process, but like, just happened to fit everything together and it was so perfect. And I know you had a crazy sweat with the Kincaid and Brees. I'm not sure if you touched on that. I had a goddamn fire alarm go off in the middle of that. So I had to make sure my dog wasn't dude, this is just like unbelievable. Like natural disasters happening across the board. Did you touch on the sweat while I was gone?
Yeah. So no, I didn't. So if you bring up like the leaderboard, I was in third place. I was in first for like after that long IU touchdown. I was in first and I was feeling pretty good. Like I was fading pretty much like big Josh Allen score. And then like, of course, like 10 minutes later, Shakir just rips a career play. But I was in first for most of the afternoon after that, that IU play. But it ended up happening where, Ryan Hodge, a good friend of mine, just 1 point behind me. He needed one Brees Hall point the whole fourth quarter. And I just needed I needed like one catch for like 3 yards from Kincaid to like lock a spot because the dude in first had Kittle and had no one else playing. And Kincaid proceeded to get 0 second half targets. So that was, a fucking thrilling time. But yeah, I was fading 1 point from Brees the whole fourth quarter and it just like ran super pure in the fact that like it just happened to be a blowout. They put in Izzy like the last 2 drives. I was really sweating, man. Like it was just nauseating. It was not fun. I had to get up, take a walk, and just like completely numb myself out from it. Because like last week, I was in first again for a lot of the afternoon, and after the second Keenan touchdown, I was like, "Oh, it's over. Like I'm set. Like I have a great buffer between me and like fourth place." And then like my damn Cowboys, CeeDee Lamb scores another touchdown, and then takes me out of qualifications. Like, God damn it, man! Just like. It sucks too because like my own Cowboys, like I love it. So yeah, so a lot of really close calls, and I finally ran pure. I might have to like quit ETR and just like go join Run Pure after that.
Hey, say that for lulz. Say that for lulz.
Yeah. So yeah,
Yo,
it was a sickening sweat. Thankfully, everything came to fruition, and I'm gonna try to get an extra seat this week at a 150 max it.
Hell yeah.
It's ugly slate this week. But yeah, pretty good run out. So yeah, I usually only do like 40 drafts a week, and I do like 10 to 15 right off the rip, and then the rest like kind of after I let my thoughts kind of go in my head and see where everyone's at. I know like an important part of my process is like, you know, picking Nez's brain. I'll DM you, John, asking like where you're at with all these standings. You know, talk to Crutches, talk to D's and in our chat, talk to Paul. I just like picking everyone's brain. And then obviously at this point in the season, I kind of have like a good idea of how the ETR guys like to project our rankings. So like early in the week, I was just attacking a bunch of the tight ends early. I was on Aaron Jones really early, and that didn't really work out, but I feel like I have a pretty good process at this point.
I would say so. You've been close. Like,
yeah, I mean, I've had 5 like really sickening sweats in this, so it's good, man. Good to finally get the victory.
It's a good reminder, though, man. Like just like the razor thin margins that are outside of our control between getting there and not getting there, and then like the persistence required to get there. So good on you for sticking with it, trusting your process, knowing that, because I mean, we talked about it with Chad, right? Like Chad was a 4th place one. Matt's been a 4th place one a couple times there, where it's like, man, you guys are smart. You guys are super sharp. Like just keep sticking with it. So it's good to see it come to fruition for you, man, because that's great, man. You've been working hard at it and you've been putting in a lot each week. You said about 40 a week. Is that kind of been like your benchmark? What about?
Yeah, just get to the $1,000 mark and just hit the 40. So yeah, about half and half before the ETR rankings drop. And honestly, I think I'm going to kind of switch it up this week because, I mean, I'm going to get a bunch in right now because the ADPs are really fucked up. But I think I'm going to do a lot Sunday morning because those draft rooms are just super soft. There's only like a couple badges in there. So, I mean, obviously, if you're drafting before like Friday, you're just going to be, your lobby's going to be filled with Crash, Rich, and Berettas. And that's just not fun because, I mean, they're sharp as hell. So,
yeah, that's half the process too, though. Like, just in terms of like, we've talked about it, like the game selection avenue from like for me for poker, from other people from DFS and stuff like that, is like it is pretty critical, and it is a skill to find yourself in quote unquote softer lobbies. Like that is a skill set within your control if you're willing to, you know, think about the entirety of the slate like you are, like this. Like, oh yeah, save 20 bullets for Sunday morning. Don't just auto draft them all on Tuesday night. Like it's a good process, man. I respect it. You talked a lot about the ETR stuff. So you're wearing the ETR hoodie, obviously. What is your involvement with them? What's your day-to-day blah, blah, blah? Yeah.
Right. So I help run all the digital media stuff. So
cool.
Mostly the focus for me right now is on short form vertical content. So like all the shorts, TikToks, reels, and you know, that's going really well. We have a pretty good process in right now. Have a lot of viral clips that we have going on each week. So I actually started out with them about, God damn, I guess it's 3 seasons ago now.
Wow.
I think it was like the after their first year. I don't know if you guys know who the fantasy football counselor is. Just an absolute donkey, like cheap. But I guess Adam saw some of his stuff and is like, this dude's kind of stupid, man. Like we got to start posting like our credible and good information out on all these other platforms. So I kind of just sent him a cold DM, just said like, yo, like I can run your stuff for you and, you know, make some content for you guys. And it kind of just like grew from there. So it's been, like, I think this is my 3rd season and, you know, we have some pretty big socials now, which is great. I mean, we about to hit 40K on YouTube, about to hit 10K on TikTok, just hit 10K on Instagram the other week. Obviously Twitter's pretty big. But yeah, great process. And now I kind of run my own digital media marketing company. So anyone watching, if you need someone to advise you or help create content on short form.
Do you know how to make thumbs?
Yeah. So thumbnails.
I think we're good there. We got
you guys need any help there. So yeah, I guess they're one of my clients now. And then I did some work with Underdog over the off season, like during draft season. And just have a couple clients here in the local Dallas area. So
sweet, man.
Pretty good gig, and obviously love all the ETR guys, and picking their brains is a super helpful part of my process, and just seeing how these guys think through projections and their leans, and you know, maybe why they're projecting X amount of workload to X players, it really is helpful. So obviously super blessed. Shout out to ETR and yeah, man.
Love
That's
it,
really
dude.
cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome to get it with a company like them at the time that you did, and obviously doing great work for them. Quickly too, I know that like you've got the red badge, and for those who don't know, like this isn't your first, big bank on Underdog.
Yeah.
What was you want to take us through what your first big dub was? It was the playoff contest, right?
Yeah, so I had some pretty successful victories on Redacted, but I've really honed in on.
We don't talk about those.
Yeah, fuck them. Really focused in on Underdog this season. So I had a big win for the playoff contest last season. I forgot what the name of the contest was. It was the 250 buy-in, and just Big Minute. Yeah, there we go. Ran super hot there, and yeah, man, I just don't have a cool story like Naji, but I just been a degenerate for like the better part of like 5 years now, and just really been grinding the last couple seasons and all things DFS. Got to give a shout out to my boys, SciBet Central, all my really close friends from college, from OU. They just, I don't know if you can call this good friends or bad friends, but they continue to push me to like really hone in on this gambling thing and just really pushed me in that area because I guess they think I got something special going on. So yeah, shout out to all of them. Some of my closest friends. So yeah, I took down the big mitten, had some redacted wins, but yeah, I pretty much maxed out every best ball contest this past season on both sides. Got in around like I think 1,600 contests.
Oh my god,
that's big time volume.
Advance rates they're looking good despite being like overexposed. Richardson, Dobbins, Mike Will, all the great clicks that didn't work out. Man, dude, Dobbins would have absolutely smashed this season, like top 5 running back if he was healthy.
Seriously.
But yeah, just a degenerate trying to make some good dough off this, and yeah,
that's fun, man. That's great. Let's zoom out for a second. I want to know, like, macro process wise. You talked about getting in early and then adjusting with the ranks and stuff. Do you do any auto drafting? Do you do anything of that magnitude? Is it all hand built on the computer? Is it on mobile? What's your process?
Yeah, so all hand builds. I'm no auto bro. Like I could never become a robot. I just think it's not very viable in NFL. Obviously, we saw Cognition take down a week ago. Just autoing, but I don't feel that that's gonna be like represents like actual outcomes very well. I think you really need to get hands in the dirt to be successful in this long term. That might change over time, but yeah. So for the BRs, I do like 5-6 at a time, just throughout the week, just on my laptop, and then the BRs just 1 or 2 at a time, just kind of depending on the fill rates. And again, like I get 10 to 15 early in the week. You're gonna try to get in like 10 today, and then just the rest sprinkled out throughout the week. And really all I do is consume like all the ETR content. Obviously all the information we have, both like internal and external. Obviously read Pat Crane's walkthrough and watch you guys, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, I feel like at this point in my gambling career, I have a pretty good feel for how things just play out. So I know Demont was like absolutely buried in our rankings, and like rightfully so. But I kind of just like IKB'd that. I was like, man, like Dan Campbell, like he's a player's coach. Like, would you be shocked if like he just gave Demont like 3 goal line opportunities for touchdowns? I was like, so I just IKB'd that. It kind of worked out.
Yeah, that whole last drive was basically that. It was basically, hey, go Demont, go win the game versus your old team.
Yeah,
that's
so
basically what they decided.
Thankfully, Dan Campbell came through there. Yeah, the Kincaid.
That's great, man.
I wasn't super high on him. I only had like a couple of shares, and I didn't feel great about him. And like after the first quarter, I was like, oh, this dude's just gonna get peppered with targets. He's gonna finish like 10 for 80, and hopefully luck box into the end zone. And then the 1 week I actually need him, he just decides to become a ghost the second half. So that motherfucker, bro.
It's pretty interesting. Out of the 3 dudes that won this week, the 3 people that won this week, like you and second place both had Kincaid, and only one person had George Kittle, and George Kittle scored 18 points.
Yeah,
so,
man.
Right. I know tight end just continues to be a bit of a mystery for us.
Yeah, I know Crutches talks about this a lot, but like the tight ends really don't matter on the slate. I know Sabi one of my boys, he shipped the Dawg Bowl Qualifier. I think it was like week.
Yeah,
five.
with
He got
0.5 points
he got,
from George Kittle.
Yeah.
So he got nothing from Kittle. So I really don't care about tight ends. I think in this particular scenario, it was kind of like a tier drop off from Kincaid to next guy. And oh shit, I'm on the clock in this TV.
Official badge, bro. If you're not drafting while on the show, I mean, like, are you even a member?
Kamara, Jay Swift.
And Dusty, Kittle was obviously like all throughout the top 20, like clearly, but like very interesting that like not in the top 2 out of 3, you know. So that's kind of wild, man.
So I took Kincaid in this draft. I picked 39, and I think after that was a tier drop off. And I like I said, I didn't like him. I didn't feel great about it. But it kind of just like worked out that way. I was much higher on Laporta and McBride. It kind of worked out where like all my exposures this week were really, really ass besides T-Law and Ridley. And sometimes that's all you need.
When they're priced what they're priced at, yeah, for sure. Like those hitting those like mid to late round guys, that's going to be the difference if you hone in on that. I mean, we've seen that happen with a lot of people like in these contests. Like, Jesus Christ, this goddamn watch. But like we see it a lot. Like if you just hone in on a stack that you think is undervalued and has a chance, and you make that like your make or break on the week, like when it makes, you do shit like this.
I think it was like Bales who said this a long time ago. It was like, what do you win when you win? It's like,
yep.
When T-Law and Ridley are going nuke, like you're going to be streaming up the leaderboards because I don't know exactly how often they're getting drafted, but they're definitely like sub 75%, if I had to guess. At least Ridley, maybe not T-Law, because I know he projected really well in our ranking, so maybe people got on him kind of late. But
people
I imagine most of it was with Kirk.
Or Ingram, because Ingram was ranked pretty high from EPRs and late in the week. So I did see those two pushing up, like kind of in tandem. Now let's jump to the overarching BR, or just back to this leaderboard for 1 second, then the overarching, because we gotta pour one out for, as you already mentioned there, Dave, our guy Hodge, coming up just short of you there. So
I'm sorry, buddy. I had to take it from you, but hey, he's gonna be in Miami either way, and we're gonna all of us. So
I learned that last night. So happy to hear that. That'll be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that. And then guys, let's go to the BR for a second, see what it looked like, because I think there's a good amount of overlap. One that we talked about behind closed doors that we both missed on, that we were kind of unfortunate that we missed on, was the Saquon stuff this week. Mm-hmm. Let's see that lineup.
And I know ETR had him projected super well. I kind of feel dumb for not getting on him sooner.
I know, me too.
He also just ran. I mean, those 2 touchdowns. Like, what the hell, man? Like Danny DeVito. Like, come on now.
I know. The thing that like makes me mad is that like we talk on this show like week in and week out that like we target the Commanders. Whoever's playing the Commanders, they're a target for us. But because the Giants just got waxed, it was the reverse. We're like, oh well, like I'm in on Brian Robinson, I'm in on McLaurin, like I'm and on the Washington side, completely like ignored the fact that like their defense is terrible, and like Saquon Barkley is playing with like a rookie bad quarterback. Like why would he not have all this volume coming his way? That was a really bad miss by me. I was pretty frustrated with that. Like the T-Law Ridley stuff, I'm like, I'll just chalk that up, to like, you guys beat me there. But the Barkley stuff, I'm kicking myself for.
Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, it seems like obvious spot, but also he could have just ran super inefficient and it like put up, like 8 points and looked really dumb there. It's like, oh, I mean, how could you not see Saquon putting up 8 points with a rookie QB and just a horrible line? Like, that first touchdown was crazy. It was like, holy shit, bro.
Yeah.
Dude can ball.
Yeah, great catch. Shout out to Tyler here. This is a nice looking lineup. Pretty smart just in terms of like, it's a classic scroll the F down, right? It was just like nobody's getting to enough Lawrence plus Ridley, and then most likely not pairing it with an over 35 ADP Saquon, or I guess it was like over 34 and a bit there. But like you take 3 guys in the top 3 rounds that you pick perfectly in Tyreek and Gibbs and Kittle, and then you just go, all right, scroll the F down for a skinny stack and a one-off play in a guy we deem a generational talent and has been for years, who's going to get 30 touches in this game. All right, here you go.
Mhm.
So, when you zoom out, it's like, oh yeah, this is just like so smart and so easy and so obvious to get to. Yet none of us got to it. Well, Dave got to it in the other contest, but I didn't get to this. So big shout outs there. Nice, well constructed, smart lineup, and just another like you can get there on low volume. I think I saw online he only had 8 to 10 entries or something like that.
Damn.
Yeah. So this is my boy Best Ball Enjoy. I don't know if y'all follow him on Twitter, but he's active in the Twitter streets. So
Yeah.
Shout out
Nice.
Tyler. But he was telling me like this is his last week of playing just because he was about to run out of bankroll, and he, like you said, like 8 to 10 bullets, and it was honestly poetic because this dude just like harped on Trevor Lawrence all offseason, like this was his flag plant, and just staying super on brand, winning it with a T-Law to Ridley stack, and
That's cool.
super happy for him. I was sweating he had like a super big margin between first and second, like he just pretty much hit the nuts on the slate, and
9 points between him and in second place.
Yeah, Kittle
which is like crazy.
I think Kittle could have done nothing, and he still could have gotten first. Did that second place have Kittle? I imagine so.
Yeah. Let me actually just like pull up that. I had like the pictures here just for the Zoom purposes.
Yeah, while you're here, shout out to A&T, who's always in the Discord, and Paul. I was inverted, having his best week of the season there too. Old time staple and a dominator of last year.
Yeah,
top 5 had Kittle. Yeah.
Tough. Okay, yeah. So yeah, he could have. I'm pretty sure Kittle could have done nothing, and he still would have banked it. But yeah, shout out to Paul, man. I picking his brand's a really important part of my process. I think obviously he's a super sharp dude, and I think was able to help him get on. I know he was super bullish on Kirk earlier in the week, and kind of discussed with him on why I was bullish on Ridley. So glad he can think that right there.
Nice. The other thing I'll say about Paul, he's very generous with like posting his exposures and sharing his like insight and whatnot. He had 48%, I believe, Devontae Adams this week. And obviously, Adams only puts up the 13 points. Adams isn't in this lineup, blah, blah, blah. But just like the classic, we always harp on it. It just takes one, right? So just a reminder, good reminder for everyone.
And you were on Devontae as well, right, Dave?
Yeah, so I
don't know what I'm
on my exposures, but pretty much I was super heavy on Tay, Cup, the like early tier tight ends, so like Laporta, McBride, and then super heavy on Aaron Jones and my boy Playmaker TP.
Playmaker TP.
Hey, that's his Instagram handle.
I love that. I love the IG handles.
But I think I saw Adam send this in our Slack, but in weeks like 1 through 10, Tony, I'm gonna totally butcher this stat, but basically the last 2 weeks he's broken a ton more tackles than he did the first 9 weeks. So I don't know if
don't tell me that.
Just what I need, another thing to go back to the Sony redacted.
Yeah, let me pull it up. I don't want to butcher this, but basically, he's been playing a lot better these last 2 weeks, and like I click Tony Pollard every single week, no matter what. Like he's gonna have a nuke game one of these weeks, and kind of the thesis behind T-Law is like ETN's running like super pure on the ground. Like one of these weeks, T-Law's gonna air it out, and the touchdowns are gonna go through him, and I kind of have the same theory with like TP. Like obviously my boy Dak's balling out, but one of these weeks, Tony Pollard's gonna have 3 touchdowns on the ground and just tilt everyone, and I refuse to miss that. So I'm gonna keep clicking TP. I'm gonna have a bunch of him in the turkey slate this week, and yeah, man, he's gonna nuke soon, and he's just gonna shove it right down your throat.
That's right.
Get back on it, John, before it's too late.
It's already too late. They've turned off my electricity. I've had to move back in with my parents, as you can see behind. It's all. The wheels have fallen off the TP bus. Oh man.
There's some folks in here, and I've seen this. Can you show it for the audience? You have a Devontae Adams like mini
buddy,
poster?
Yeah.
Can we see? Are we allowed to see that?
Let me grab that. 1 sec.
This is fantastic. This made me feel so much better about not having a lot of Devontae Adams. Like, okay, the guy with a mini poster of Devontae has this. Okay.
All right. So the reason I got super addicted to like fantasy football is the first year I played was like 2016, and I had Aaron Rodgers on my team, and that was the year like Tay really broke out, and I grabbed him off the waiver. So since then, he has been my guy. And have this nice little portrait of my boy. Hey, look how beautiful this is.
This is sick.
One of my good friends from college, she made this for me. And yeah, isn't this beautiful? Obviously not the Raiders jersey, but this is the man.
This is how everybody pictures him. How everybody pictures him.
The reason why I love the NFL so much. So I love my boy Tay. I always bet on him. And yeah, but back to this Tony Pollard point. It was actually Amico that sent it. But in weeks 1 through 9, TP was only credited with forcing 8 missed tackles in the run game. And over the last 2 weeks, he's forced 10 in those 2. So I don't know if something's just like clicking for him, if he's feeling healthy.
The stat provider got a little itchy trigger finger.
Yeah, I don't know if he's just
his
feeling
expected stats look better. Huh?
Feeling
This is like JJJ playing at home in the blocks stats, where the home crowd is just pumping that button a little bit.
That's right.
So yeah, hopefully something's clicking for him. I'm a big Rico Dowdle fan too, though. I'm definitely gonna be clicking him a bunch this week in the turkey tournaments. So.
Yeah, these turkey tournaments are awesome. Do you want me to just go right into that?
Yeah.
I think it's a good segue. Good segue there. I want to say a couple things first. I want to remind everyone that last week to qualify for the Dawg Bowl. So this will be that's it, the final one to meet all of us in Miami and get your chance at 200K. They're running back the promo again. So reminder to everybody, if you have to do a minimum of 10 lineups, but if you finish with any of those lineups in the top 2,000, you'll be credited your money back alongside any other prize in which you win. So great promo, running it back for the final week of Dawg Bowls there. And then obviously this week is crazy different with the Thanksgiving stuff. So there's a whole bunch of unique slates that we have yet to see this year. There's early only, which is the cranberry there. Sorry, Naz, I'm jumping ahead of you.
You're just getting right into it. Let's go.
Yeah. There's the early only, so that's a 2-game slate there, the cranberry. Then the stuffing is the Dallas game, which is in the middle there, and then the afternoon or evening game, rather, which is the Seahawks-Niners game. Then there's one that's Monday night times the 3 games, which is the primetime Turkey Palooza there, which I'm sure we'll talk about next. And then the turkey itself, which is rake-free, 45,000 entry rake-free contest. Shout out to the good people hooking us up with the equivalent of a battle royale, but just for a 3-game slate on Thanksgiving and rake free. So just a lot of incredible stuff going there. And then one other promo, the Pick'em promo right now. They're going to make us go back to the Tony Redacted well and pay attention there, because there's 300K in giveaways on Pick'ems if you do one for Thanksgiving. Between now and Thanksgiving, there is 300K worth of airdrops, and they're going to take place in 3 isolated 100K windows to be dropped. And then there are 3 players to watch that Underdog is teasing on that slate there. And one of them, of course, is Tony Redacted. I can't remember who the other 2 are off the top of my mind. There you go. Brock Purdy and Jahmyr Gibbs. There you go. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, so it sounds like, just any pick'em entry. It doesn't have to be, NFL. It could be anything. Just make any entry, and then you're entered into this thing. So this is exciting. I'm hoping I can run pure. I could really use 100K. I know we're going to Miami, but that wouldn't hurt. That definitely wouldn't hurt. Yeah. Well, so we're hoping we hit that one.
I kind of envision it not as a lump sum. I have no inside information, and I actually kind of wanted to ask you guys about this. I don't envision it as 3 lump sum 100K drops, like it
quite literally says 100K
right
airdrop 3 separate times, though, right?
Right, but I don't think that's to one person. I think it's 100K at a time, and I think it's spread out, scattershot into people's accounts. So just be mindful of looking.
Yeah, we might need some clarification on that.
Yeah, well, I think they're trying to keep it a little mysterious right now, so I think that's part of the mystique here. But I that's how I vision it. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm excited for these specials too. We're definitely going to be all over that. While I'm at the dinner table, I've got a lot of duties on Thanksgiving. I'm cooking a lot of food. I'm taking charge this year. But I'm still going to get some pick'ems in while I'm in the middle of burning the turkey.
Okay, we got to do this before we get into the slate. What is the 101 side of Thanksgiving?
Dave, what you go first?
Dave, go. Yeah.
In terms of food, or
Yeah.
bro, I'm not a big turkey guy. Like, I'm gonna cook myself a nice steak, and
What about
like,
the side though? What about like?
oh, dude, are you, bro? Probably, dude. I'm gonna maybe a little basic, but some nice mac and cheese, some
Nothing wrong with mac and cheese.
Oh, mac and
nice
cheese.
mashed
Okay.
potatoes.
That's a pretty American thing. We don't do that up here. Like
Yeah.
for Thanksgiving, like mac and cheese as a side associated with turkey and stuff, not really a Canadian thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's even more like southern too. Like in Pennsylvania, not a lot of mac and cheese in there, but I do these cheesy potatoes with a little like a cornflakes on top, get a little crunch in there. I mean, it is just it'll knock your fucking socks off, bro.
That's speaking my language a little bit.
Yeah,
like
I get requested to make that every year, so that's one of the things that I'm making. What's your 101 of sides, John?
Oh, I think it's a layup that it's stuffing. Like whether you call it stuffing, whether you call it dressing, whatever your MO is, whatever your thing is, I think it's a layup that stuffing's 101 alongside turkey. Now, if we're just going like, sides for a meal, like obviously that's not it. But alongside turkey, I think stuffing's got to be
Stuffing.
it for me.
Yeah, stuffing goes hard. It's got to be done right. But
are you guys cranberry sauce or no cranberry sauce?
Nuns.
None.
Oh man, I don't like stuffing.
Like-
I don't like the cranberry sauce. I guess I'm a little basic.
You guys are gonna put my brother-in-law out of business here, man. They grow cranberries, man.
Oh no,
cranberries.
we like the juice.
Cranberries as a side. Okay, you like the juice. All right,
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
All right, Dave. Before we start looking at these slates, because these are like some sexy slates. Your boy Bryce wants us to talk about your side bet. So, like, can you? While we got you on here, man, what's up with this side bet?
Oh, my boy Brick. So that's just that's what we have our group chat. It's basically my closest fraternity brothers in college, but it's a 12-person league, and been running it for like 5-6 years now. And man, dude, I cannot, for whatever reason, I'm cursing this league. I can hit these big DFS wins, do great in the prop streets, but like for whatever reason, I'm cursed. And I cannot do well in this league, like no matter what. I've lost 2 times. And like we treat our punishments like it's pretty severe. So the last time I lost, I had to spend 24 hours in our local
No.
It's called Donut King on Main Street in Norman, and every 2 donuts I ate was an hour off.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! That sounds terrible.
I ended up eating like 36 donuts in like a 6-hour span, and ended up getting out there pretty quickly. But man, it was just absolutely painful, just downing these glazed donuts. Like it's a huge meme, and this donut shop's just like a huge meme in our friend group. And
you're now the Donut King, man.
I am the Donut King. they're gonna have they're gonna laugh at that, but yeah, man, it's a pretty serious league. It's honestly harder than like any league I've seen. Like these dudes are so sweaty, and I think it's just because I've brought them to be that. Yeah, super fun. I can't win. I fucking suck at season long, I guess. But yeah, shout out Brick.
That's why we play here, man.
Yeah, that's why I'm on Underdog. I can't win season long with my closest friends. But yeah, shout out Brick. He's got a great team. Everyone in there's a great fantasy player, great time. But yeah, hopefully I don't lose this year. I'm in 11th place right now, and I think this year we're gonna do like a hell mile.
Running it back.
We got like a hell mile. Where it's like the loser will have to, complete a mile in a certain amount of time, take a bunch of green out off edibles before you start the mile, like be super uncomfortable, and then every lap you have to shotgun a beer, and you have to like finish it under a certain time. So hopefully I'm not the loser this year. I think my God. Is gonna.
I'll stick to my nuggets, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, the punishments are pretty severe, like Donut King, the Hellmeyer. So yeah, good time. Yeah, but shout out to my side bet Central. I love all my brothers. But yeah, let's get into this rookie slate and talk more about Tony Pollard. Like I feel like it's just so poetic that the weeks that John finally gets off him, he's starting to kind of start cooking. So
Dave, I tried to tell these dudes all week that like you're gonna pay, and we got the sub 20 score that we were basically like assuming was gonna happen. But hey, he still did his thing.
I capitulated kind of hard on that. I will admit that I did end up with 24% Tony Pollard after the Rico news on Saturday, because I did do a large portion of my drafting on Saturday evening and Sunday morning, because I knew Nikki was going to be out, girls' night, blah, blah, blah. And old John Boy was just going to, crack cold one, sit down, watch the Huskies game, and draft. And that's exactly what I did. And I drafted the shit out of Tony Pollard to get it back up from like 3 or 4% to like 20-ish. And this is a respectable number. And yeah, that did exactly what you guys think it did for me.
Which is basically nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, not the Saquon week we were looking for, but that's okay. Brings us to this slate. I want to start off with the primetime Palooza because that bad boy is at close to 50%, if not beyond 50, exactly 50% full. This is $10 to enter, 6-person drafts, so there is ADP and $50K and prizes, $5K to first. Really sick contest. I am running, these are just like my personal ranks, how I'm like looking at this slate. There is obviously a huge preference and bias towards the Eagles and Chiefs game, which very strangely, and I strongly disagree with the total on this game, which is at 45.5. I also don't think that the Chiefs should be favored. So I'm on like two opposite ends of this game, but based on the way my ranks are going, haven't been getting to a lot of the Eagles in that game. But I mean, just to kind of like set the scene, we've got that, like I said, that Monday night game, Chiefs and Eagles, gonna be sick. Then we've got Lions and Packers. We've got Cowboys and Commanders, and then Seahawks and Niners, which is like a very non-traditional matchup in Thanksgiving, but I'm kind of here for it. Something new.
No, that one's been around for a minute, dude. They did the turkey leg with Sherm like 3 or 4 something years. Like, yeah, that one's been a thing for a bit. It's like it's a more non-traditional than back in the day, but it's definitely been around like maybe like 5 of the last 7 years, something like that.
Guess I'm just too busy celebrating with my family and smelling the roses.
Well, that's when you turn it off. Like you that Dallas game ends and then you shut it down. You go family time.
Yeah. So definitely like some fun-filled games. We got some good news on Geno. We had the Geno injury last night, and it sounds like he's going to play. I don't think Ken Walker is going to play. I mean, Pete Carroll. I mean, he's like. We might need to hit up the old Coach Speak index on him. But I mean, if he's saying he's got a legit oblique strain, I mean, they already like Charbs enough that like I'm basically putting Ken Walker in DND territory. My dog agrees.
Yeah, I mean, like the fact that he was ruled out so early in that contest and then just like gone. I wouldn't read anything into the Carroll speak because as like the Coach Speak index will point out to you, like he's one of the most least trustworthy individuals. But I've been playing it thus far as taking Sharps as your last in like 1-1-3-1s and prioritizing the wide receiver position and then using Sharps as like the discounted one-off running back piece because he came in and he basically played like 90-something% of snaps. I think it was like 80 I want to say it was like 85% of snaps, something like that, and then instantly used in the pass catching role as well, even though DJ Dallas is out there a little bit on third downs. Anyways, that's how I've been treating that, but I'm in lockstep with you, Nez. There might also be some merit to drafting Walker with the Q tag and then just getting like swap eligible, but I'm letting other people catch that grenade or dagger or falling knife or whatever you want to call it in the middle of drafts and then soaking up like one place of ADP at the wide receiver position.
Yeah. I'm with you there. I think, outside of like McCaffrey, I mean, there are a lot of running backs that I like, but I mean, just the way that wide receiver tends to dry up as quickly as it does, you do sort of need to like kind of pick your poison there. Have you done any of these drafts yet, Dave, as far as the primetime goes?
I have not done any of the primetime games. I've done a bunch of the turkey. I don't have a good feel on this Chiefs game, and I actually think I think it might be kind of ugly. I think Jalen Hurts might struggle in this spot. So all my focus has been on the turkey, and I got about 30, 40 in last night, and I have like 88% Charbonnet. Just hammering him right now and hoping throughout the week, like the Walker FUD gets worse and he gets ruled out, and then just I'll manage my exposure from there. But yeah, lots of sharps right now. And like you said, I really like prioritize like the elite tight end and then like 3 really good wide receivers, and then just like topping it off with Charbonnet.
The other one, let's go. I'm in lockstep with you there, Dave. Let's go, Nez. Let's go position by position for this first slate, then rip one, and then talk about the turkey specifically. When you remove kind of like the premium, like what difference there would be. There'll be a lot of overlap, obviously, but just in a vacuum, man, like this slate is so strong, and it's a scroll the F down dream. Like you don't even have Jordan Love clicked right there in your ranks, and like I low key think Jordan Love is like some pretty fun leverage on this slate. I don't know, like it feels like you can hand build as a super scroll down guy and like not sacrifice too much if you're just going to play limited volume and entries. But yeah, I don't know, where are you guys coming out?
How I'm attacking this is, again, like my sole focus is on the turkey right now. But I'm literally just going to be super overweight Geno and Love and just like hope like, like the 10-15-5% outcome, whatever, that they're like a top 2 QB on the slate. It just happens to be that, because I can't imagine them getting drafted a ton in these. And, we've seen Jordan Love's been pretty ass in real life, but you can put up a fantasy score. And, I wouldn't do this with the main slate and turkey, given Patty and Jalen on here. But yeah, on the turkey, I'm going to be super overweight the Green Bay guys, the Seahawks guys, and I don't feel comfortable about it, but I'm just gonna close my eyes and like praise like, hey, maybe Jordan Love just like gets in 2 rushing touchdowns and like connects a deep one with Watson, and he's optimal. Because they're so like their base projection can't be like that drastic compared to like Goff, and I don't want to say Purdy or Howell, just because how efficient or how much rushing they have. But yeah, I'll be overweight those 2 QBs and just pray that something goes well for them.
Yeah, I mean, we almost saw it get home in the last primetime slate with the Monday, Thursday one. Yeah, where Russell Wilson was the second highest scoring player on the slate. Now, granted, like completely different situation with Burrow getting injured or whatever, but you're dealing with a slate that had like Allen, Burrow, Lamar, and Russ was optimal until basically the last drive of that football game. So I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility that between these 2 scroll down quarterbacks, you soak up a little bit of flex value, and then you just have just enough to win in unique points from Love, Howell, whomever at that back end.
Yeah, and it's going to take, I mean, like, like I said, like one of these weeks Pollard's just going to soak up everything, or Rico, or like one of these like other like secondary pieces. And like, would it be crazy if you told yourself like CMC, Pollard, Montgomery / Gibbs like all combined for like 6, 7, 8 rushing touchdowns, and like none of their QBs kind of get there, and then like do like I think in these kind of spots you just have to like blindly fire on these QBs that don't get drafted, just because of the leverage you get over the field if they do hit. Granted, I mean, like I said, it might be only like 5-10% of the time, but definitely worth it.
Yeah. This is a really like interesting slate. I mean, I was like looking at the matchups, right, and kind of like giving my estimation of what I thought like these spreads and totals would be, and everything was pretty close as far as like these totals, as far as what I was estimating. I was high on the Niners and Seahawks. I thought that would be like a 44.5. That is coming in at 42.5 at open. So, but these other games, man, we've got Chiefs and Eagles at 45.5. I think that goes over. Dallas and Commanders, it opens at 47.5, and Green Bay and Detroit opens at 46. So these are, I mean, we've got some big totals here. It really does seem like Seattle is going to be like the biggest struggle on this slate as far as who's going to put up the least amount of points. You've got an injured Geno, probably no Ken Walker against this Niners team that just looks once again like some juggernauts. Everything else looks in play, and it looks like a really fun slate.
Yeah, that's a pretty good shout there, Nez. I would also add that like we're dealing with. Okay, so when we're talking about it, think about it in 2 different slates. The first slate, we have like the close competitive game environment of tonight. In the turkey slate, we literally have onslaught favorites in every single game, like favorites that are greater than 7 points.
Yeah,
Niners are 7, Lions are 7.5, and Cowboys are 11 on that slate. So I mean, if you want to go one step further with that same notion, you just go onslaught from the 2 highest total favorites on that, and just X out the Seahawks. Maybe not entirely, but X them out of just, 5 lineups that you're about to do. X out Packers and Seahawks and just see how many you can jam in of one lineup of one game environment. Because we saw it. We keep talking about how this Niners pass attack is so spread. We're not sure if it's going to get home. Like, we don't know who to pick from whatever. Well, look what just won. The Badge Bros won on a 10-game slate. A 4-man Niner stack, was it? Or a 3-man Niner stack in a 3-person contest on a 10-game slate. You don't think that can just be the optimal in a 3-game slate contest? So maybe we got to flip our mindset a little bit this week, just given the totals, given the spreads, that we should be getting super onslaughty with some of these favorites.
Yeah, definitely in play. One thing that I think is interesting is that like Geno has only thrown over 40 times, 3 times this season, and against the Bengals he didn't really get home, but against the Commanders he put up 24 points, and against Detroit in week 2 put up 23 points. So this really does seem like a game where Geno's going to have to sling it. And say what you will about Geno's performance this year and how he's looked, but Seattle's defense has been underrated. They have a very strong run game. Without Ken Walker and Sharps being really the only back there other than DJ Dallas, I think Geno is like in play despite the fact that it's a low total and they are big dogs. Like, we haven't seen Geno have to sling it in a matchup really. I am interested to see how much Geno gets drafted in these. I mean, we only have tonight to do this one, and the other ones don't have ADP. But with Geno essentially going undrafted, I think he represents like some pretty strong leverage and probably top 3 as far as like pass attempts to go on the slate. I know that's a pretty bullish projection from me on that, but I do think that there's some merit there to going with the Seahawks. But I mean, awesome QB slate. We are absolutely blessed. I mean, the fact that QB6 is passed 50 times Sam Howell against the Cowboys, like really, like take who you want here. I don't know that I'm going to be taking a lot of Mahomes, but I mean, this is a pretty loaded QB slate. I think we can move on to running backs now. What do you guys think?
Yep.
Running backs is a little bit different story.
Let me hit one thing in the chat here. Basketball Viper, I'm sorry, man. I effed that up. 3 p.m. Eastern start. It was a 2 p.m. Eastern start. I just all over the place, and I was driving while I was tweeting that and whatever. I goofed that. My apologies. And Kev Wheeler, thank you, man. Smash that like button, please, and thank you. And guys, consider becoming members on the channel as well, because we're going to be, I don't know, a whole bunch of new stuff's going to be coming here, and a whole bunch of new stuff's going to be changing around here, and we're going to incentivize people why you'd like to be a member in the future here. So good things are coming for Badge Bros and Badge Brigade alike. Yeah, sorry, Ness, go ahead.
Good plug. Yeah, so just like briefly sticking with this Monday night Thanksgiving slate, I mean, this is loaded. We've got CMC consensus 101, CD and Kelsey right behind him. I have no problems wanting to put McCaffrey 101, of course. Number 2, I have Kelsey ranked there. But after McCaffrey, in my opinion, it's pretty wide open with this next 3. Gibbs, Montgomery are like in an even split, in my opinion. And given what I think the game flow is looking like, give me Montgomery over Gibbs personally. But we got Tony redacted in an awesome spot, coming off a touchdown. It's hard not to want to bump him up, man, in these slates. But the top 4 in running back, I think, is like absolutely set in stone. Any consideration for putting DeAndre Swift with that category of running backs?
Not for me, but I can see the leverage it introduces. Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest wrinkle of leverage that you can get on tonight's slate versus just the Thursday only, is if you thrust up Isaiah Pacheco or you thrust up Swift into this range, just because of how high the quarterbacks go. So does that make sense? Like the difference between Monday and Thursday versus just Thursday is because the quarterbacks are the 2 first quarterbacks off the board in the majority of drafts, that you can introduce leverage by taking undrafted or lower drafted running backs, thrusting them up over those quarterbacks, and then playing tonight through the run game. So from a pure leverage standpoint, I like it, and I obviously like the Swift angle more than the
Mhm.
Pacheco one. But in a vacuum, I would rather just play the Thursday stuff and then play tonight through like skinny stack of whatever, like elite skinny stack with quarterback and pass catcher.
Gotcha. Dave, just like I know you haven't done a lot of these, but just looking at these ADPs right now, what do you think about putting? Are you fine with this order of ADP, or anything that you would maybe you kind of change if you could?
Yeah, I would take a lot of sharps just off like the pure game theory leverage standpoint, even though it's like really ugly. Is B-Rob getting drafted in all these drafts?
He is getting drafted in all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, you see an ADP of 24.
Okay,
You do have to scroll down to get to him. I mean, he's going in like the 5th round.
Oh, yeah.
Based on ADP.
Little fun fact for y'all: the Cowboys, my beautiful, beloved Cowboys, have not covered on Thanksgiving in 12 years. So
No way.
Or actually, I think we might have covered the COVID year, maybe. But at best, it's like 1-11, 1-10. Since like
Interesting.
2010, if I remember correctly.
Interesting.
I'm butchering that, but we're 11-point favorites against the Commanders. I honestly think this is a B-Rob game. I think he's going to give us a lot of fits in the run game. We gave up some pretty explosive run plays to Chuba yesterday, and I think our run defense is a little overrated. So I personally would be all over B-Rob. I think he nukes the slate. That's just like my fandom, like Cowboys take though.
Yeah,
I wish he nuked this weekend slate instead.
I did have a ton of B-Rob as well. Do you guys think that if Antonio Gibson, I think it would be a bit of a surprise if he was active, because he's dealing with a toe injury. It's a nagging injury for him. He's dealt with it essentially his whole career. If let's say hypothetically he's active, are you guys like, how much are you going to like negate or nerf the B-Rob ADP?
I personally don't really care. I'm going to
I agree.
Sure that's a good take and pull up the utilization reports real quick. But off the top
that's
of my
what I got right here. I got it right here. So, I mean, Gibson hadn't played over 50% of the snaps. He's played over 50% of the snaps in 3 weeks this season. And basically, he has a 1 week over 50 since week 3. He had the nice touchdown reception in the corner of the end zone. I guess it was 2 weeks ago there, but I think he's a long ways from playing. Short week after going DNP times 3. I think if he went limited a couple times last week, maybe there'd be a little something there. I don't know. I think they kind of like what they've seen from Chris Rodriguez as well. Like we saw Chris Rodriguez get a little uptick this week comparative to last, like 21% of snaps this time. I think they're kind of fine with what they have, and they won't force the issue.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, the emergence of B-Rob's like receiving role. I know that we have Gibson like hurt in like the last 2 games, but I think that this B-Rob receiving role, I think really kind of opens things up for them. It's not, helps them telegraph less on the, against other teams. Just knowing that he can be out there for pass downs is a big deal. I mean, outside of this, I think we touched on Charbs as well being, I think that this is totally fine. And I would take Dylan over Walker. I think this Walker ADP is going to depress. Dylan just needs to find the end zone. I mean, he's likely to give you less than 10 points, but if he gets in the end zone, then that's important for him. And the only other names that I would like really like touch on in here would be Jerick McKinnon in a potential shootout, but 45.5 total right now. And then if you want to do Rico Dowdle again, you can. I'm good.
Do it. Just close your eyes and click him. I know I've been touting my boy Playmaker. But I think Rico's better than him at this point of his career. He has way more juice. I think slowly but surely we're to see a little bit more snaps and touches from him each week. But if this dude just ripped off like a 40-yard touchdown, I would not be the slightest bit shocked. So yeah.
I mean, it's interesting to see when he came in the game. They had a designed screen or like kind of like a flare out into the flat with like one of his first touches, where it was kind of like a designed play for Rico in a pass catching role, which was kind of surprising. I was like, why the hell don't you guys just do this with TP? Which, gives a little bit of promise that they see him as versatile or whatever. I think those are kind of like just like pure dart throws. And I think if these were like 6-person contests, we could talk like more diligently about them. With this, I mean, I don't have a huge lean
this one
on
is
mixing those. Oh, sorry. Yeah. I was thinking the other one, the just turkey only. Yeah, but the other one I want to talk about is Aaron Jones, because Aaron Jones we haven't talked about yet. He's been injured forever, then finally looks like he's full healthy, comes back. He was projecting as a super nice play, and then he gets injured early in this one. Are we just saying Aaron Jones just does not play like 100%?
I have no idea how he would play. That injury looked pretty bad.
I have no read on it, but honestly, I think the coaching staff kind of agrees. I think Aaron Jones has lost a lot of juice, and that upside might be. I probably just won't go there right now. I'm going to obviously see the reports tomorrow and Wednesday and kind of get it from there. But as of right now, I'm probably not clicking him. I love how I'm touting Rico Dowdle as like some explosive player. You pull up the box score and this dude goes 8 for 23, 2 receptions for -3 yards. Like, come on, man! I'm trying to help. Trying to tout you here.
And then real quick, I just wanted to mention this. So obviously, like everybody's like going to be drafting the Thanksgiving main slate. We have a rake-free contest there. One thing to note before we like touch on the rest of this Monday and Thanksgiving slate, which I do find to be very fun, and it has ADP. You can use this to your advantage. So when you look at the Thanksgiving main slate, there is no ADP here. So if you want to get an idea of what the field is doing, all you have to do is go to the CSV upload download, hit CSV download. Well, do it for this contest is what I meant to do. Do it for the ADP contest. Download this ADP. That way you have that data. And what you can do is upload it to Excel or a Google sheet and remove the Chiefs and the Eagles. And it's not going to be exactly perfect because there's different contexts when you have the Eagles and the Chiefs on the slate, and it's 6-person, but it at least gives you an idea of how people are drafting the upper echelon of these drafts, because there is no ADP. There will not be ADP in the 4-person Thanksgiving contest. So I just wanted to give you guys some a little tip there if you want an idea of what the field is drafting like. Okay.
Good shout. Yeah. Okay. Can I finish the Aaron Jones point now? The thing is, it's because Wilson's hurt behind him as well, and then Taylor's on the practice squad and whatever. AJ Dillon came in and saw 4 catches. Like, I think AJ Dillon's a pretty good play on this slate, like just in general. Even if they're trailing, they've shown a propensity to leave him on the field. So I just kind of think, like, with all the FUD around that, like AJ Dillon would be like that 5th rounder that I'd be like clicking the most on the Monday, Thursday, I think.
Would you take him over Sharps?
I think it's like way closer than people are giving credit. I think people would rather click Sharps because like Dylan's disappointed us this year and whatever, but the
forever.
Spot for Dylan, forever. Yeah. But I think the spot for Dylan is better. And like, even with running backs out, like Pete shows a propensity to rotate. Whereas like, I'm not entirely sure that's going to happen with the Packers. I mean, I do expect maybe like Taylor will be active up from the practice squad. I don't know. Maybe Wilson ends up being fine, but like that injury looked bad as well. So I don't know. It's just kind of what I wanted to pick your guys' brain. And share.
I mean, if I'm projecting, man, I'm projecting AJ Dillon for like 90% of the running back touches.
Yeah. And
maybe 100. Like,
yeah,
they're kind of screwed. And they're not even going to pass. They're not even going to run that much, like most likely, right? Unless like things really go their way. And I think that would involve like a pick 6 or, the special teams, something outside of just like the defense shutting down this. I mean, this is an absolute nightmare matchup for the Packers. Like you're not very good at stopping the run at all. That is what the Lions want to do. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to absolutely shove it down your throat. And how are you possibly like overcoming that and winning this game? Like, I don't know if they're going to all of a sudden scheme a good run defense. Like, okay, I guess. Like, I don't see this happening.
Yeah, I feel that. Let's do wide receiver. Sorry.
All right, wide receivers on this slate. CeeDee Lamb leading the charge. He's actually ADP 2 over Travis Kelce. Something that I disagree with, but hey, that's how the field is seeing him. And I can't blame them, man. I mean, CeeDee Lamb is doing it all, and this is an absolute like dream setup. Like 3 games in a row, we've been talking about this for 3 weeks now about how this stretch of the Cowboys is just like the softest matchups you could possibly ask for. Now they get the awesome Commanders that just like are fantasy goodness. They pass a shit ton. The Commanders do. Their defense is trash. This could easily set up to be that Dallas game against the Giants where it's CeeDee Lamb going off and it's Dak going off against the Commanders. Would you take A.J. Brown or Amon-Ra over CD in this?
CD's going for 200.
I love it.
200.
Stamp.
You heard it here first. Dave, the only guy on planet Earth, projecting Rico Dowell to score 2 touchdowns, Tony Pollard to score 2 touchdowns, and CeeDee Lamb to go for 202. The Cowboys are walking to a 7-touchdown weekend all on offense. For Thursday, all on offense.
I love it. They're going to blow the roof off Jerry World.
I love being a homer.
It's the best. It's the best. It wins you so much money being a homer. But yeah. So obviously CeeDee Lamb is a smash, but I don't know that I would take him over Kelsey.
Their pass rate over expectation since they've come out of the break is like astronomical, right? They're right up there with what the Bengals were doing beforehand. This matchup, we have seen A.J. Brown cook in this matchup as they've played the Commanders twice this year already. There's no reason to think CeeDee Lamb doesn't cook here. How quickly we forget, though, like we're talking about this as Kelsey versus Lamb, how quickly we forget that A.J. Brown was going to break Megatron's record of 5 straight games with 150 and a score. And that was like, 10, 12 days ago that didn't take place. Then they have a bye week, and now it's like, oh yeah, CeeDee Lamb supplanted him as well. And all we've done is lose Dallas Goedert in that offense. Now the matchup obviously isn't as slap you in the face good as the Commanders one is, but it's just funny how our perspective in this sport shifts so effing fast, right? Because 2 weeks ago, there's no way anyone's taking CeeDee Lamb over A.J. Brown, right?
No way. Absolutely no way.
Yeah.
Well, other than Dallas Dave, okay? Yeah, let's be for real.
Yeah.
So obviously we've got like this tier, right? This top 3 tier, and it's probably going to be drafted in this order unless you get like a Philly Phil in here who's going to take AJ Brown over CD. I'm totally fine with this order. I think now this tier break is warranted after this, but any takers for Devontae or Debo over Ayuk in this matchup against the Seahawks? Because for me, it's no way. I've seen enough throughout this whole career to want to do Ayuk next here.
Yeah, I mean, can I ask you guys who leads the league in average depth of target?
No, I have no idea.
It's got to be Christian Watson.
Sorry, not average depth of target. Who leads the league in average yards per reception?
Oh, that's Ayuk.
Dude, like that's, man, you don't think about Purdy as like a push it down field guy or whatever. And sure, he does like a decent amount after the catch, but it's been pretty incredible what he's done. And to go from a spot where like last year he was being worked over by Juwan Jennings to be taught a lesson in the first couple weeks of the season. You guys remember that? Like we were taking Ayuk at like that 3-4 turn in best ball, and then Juwan Jennings, like Shanahan's like, nah, he's not ready, blah, 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 and just works over Juwan Jennings on him. And we thought Ayuk's season was done. And now he comes out and like genuinely arguable case to be made that he's a top, I don't know, I think top 10 at least, but like you could make a case top 8 wide receiver in the league now.
He's incredible, man. He does everything. Like he's great after the catch. He's a great route runner. Like, you know, you can't necessarily say the same thing about Debo. I mean, Debo's fantastic, but like Debo is way more of a yak guy, which is like, you know, pretty obvious. But
shout out to Dave and the ETR guys and all you guys over there, because Dink said something. I think it was Dink or Leone said something that was really smart last weekend, where we've been talking a lot about the zone versus man, and then you look at the defense and Debo's the zone beater and Ayuk's the man beater, and oh, what are they going to play this weekend? Well, you saw that Tampa Bay was going to play zone, and then one of the guys, I think it was Dink, was like, because I think he flag planted him, was just like, yeah, it doesn't matter. Like that problem is probably more of a Jimmy Garoppolo problem in the past than a Purdy problem, and boy as shit was he right this weekend with the Ayuk versus Debo, plus Ayuk playing versus zone defense still being the better play.
Yeah, I was literally just about to bring that up. So thank you. But yeah, I will say historically, and obviously it's different QB and a little bit different situation. But like I think like the last 4 games, Debo has played against the Niners, and I think or against the Seahawks, and I think he missed one last season. And I don't think he played the playoff game. Oh no, he did play the playoff game. But his last 5 games against the Niners, the Seahawks, he has owned them. Averaging, just a quick stat muse, averaging 7 receptions for 104 yards and half a touchdown. And that's not including a game in the playoffs where he went 6 for 133 and 1. So
wow.
I do
nice
think
nugget.
I also think this is a very narrative-based take, but we see all these weapons on the Niners just absolutely crushing each week, and Debo's been kind of quiet. I wouldn't be surprised given like his historical performance against the Seahawks and all his teammates crushing that Shanahan gives him like a couple more scheme touches, maybe some more rushes, and just like kind of lets him nuke. So personally this week, like I like to take like really massive stands. I'm going to be drafting Debo over Ayuk and exposed to it. I don't probably not the best take, but obviously most likely outcome Ayuk is smashing. But I think given my little narrative based take and his recent performance against the Seahawks, I'm just going to go all in Debo and just like pray that he outscores Ayuk.
Sweet.
I like it, man. I mean, the recency bias will definitely, have you with some strong leverage there. I think in reality, yeah, like their range of outcomes are not that far apart. So I think that's a pretty fun way to play the Thanksgiving slate and this one as well. We've got Devon. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. Say his name and then I'll say you what I was gonna say.
Devontae Smith.
Yeah. Last 5 games without shout out our guy Connor Allen, who we met down in Vegas there for the ship chasing stuff. Last 5 games without Dallas Goedert. 9 targets, 8 targets, 8 targets, 8 targets. He's had a minimum of he had 1 game with 4, but more than 5 catches in 4 out of 5 of them. He's eclipsed 100 yards in 2 out of 5 of them, and been over 50 yards in all of them. So that was the little nugget on Devonta Smith without Dallas Goedert. Looks pretty nice.
2-point dogs against the Chiefs. I know that the Chiefs defense is pretty damn good, but it's also the Eagles. I'm just like very shocked by like what I'm seeing in this game and the sentiment and the total and everything. I could look like a total donkey. One thing that I have been cognizant of is teams playing at Arrowhead, where those games do tend to go under more often than not. But man, I'm just like really not buying it here. I really do think this is going to be a shootout. So I love Devontae Smith. I don't have him over Ayuk. I think I'm just like really into the Niners and passing attacks against Seattle. But man, I think Devontae can absolutely pay off at ADP. After him there, Debo and Metcalf, we kind of talked about that game and Debo quite a bit. I want to talk about Rashee Rice because this wide receiver 8, he represents the 3rd tier of wide receivers after the Ayuk through Metcalf tier. If you want to label that as such. Rice being over McLaurin, I love passing attacks against the Eagles. That might be a little bit of a bridge too far. Are you guys you guys like this ADP order of Rice over McLaurin? I mean, it's only by 0.1, but at the end of the day, like that matters way more than what it seems in these drafts.
I think I want to throw a little cold water on tonight being.
Oh, we lost your mic.
I think I'll finish his sentence for him. I think he's going to say this is going to be a letdown. Yeah.
Okay, no, somebody was calling me. This is a joke, doing stuff on your phone and one AirPod and whatever. No, I think like tonight, like there could be some legit weather concerns, and I think it could be kind of wet. And we're looking at games that have similar totals on Thursday, and that will not deal with conditions. Potentially, the Seahawks game could evening game Seattle, blah blah blah, with the lower total. But you get a Lions game inside, you get a Cowboys game inside that I'm probably not looking to take as much risk, even though the matchup looks kind of juicy for the Chiefs players, to just try and hit the nuts on a scatter shot, 2 touchdown Rashee Rice game. Rather just give me Commanders trailing with Terry McLaurin. That's kind of like, yeah, a little bro science-y, I guess, but just kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I guess I don't think that you need 2 touchdowns from Rashee Rice, and we have seen a bit of like an increase in role. I mean, he got there with a touchdown last week, but like ultimately it hasn't been like the best. But as far as Chiefs pass catchers go, it's Kelsey, huge tier break.
Yeah.
Rashee Rice, nobody else. Like, MVS finally had a good game 3 weeks ago, has been invisible since. Maybe you want to like make a case for a resurgence of Justin Watson, who was like the ADOT leader for the Chiefs for weeks, potentially having a comeback. We've got Mecole Hardman in the mix. Tony continues to be just a hilarious best ball pick. And then Sky Moore, another hilarious best ball pick. I mean, there's just nothing else going on here. If the Chiefs are going to win the game, is it just through like somebody has to catch the football here? Right. Like, and this Eagles defense is not good against the air. Like, I'm just kind of at a loss here. And I love Rashee Rice. And yeah, I don't think I could take him over Terry, because I think that they're going to have more success. Or at least I think Terry will have a better game than Rashee Rice. But man, oh man, like a pass funnel Eagles and it's the Chiefs. It's kind of boggling my mind here.
It's really hard to get excited about a Chiefs pass catching corp that has no one playing over 59-ish, 60% of total routes. Like Rashee Rice has been like 65, 60, 56, 50, and like that's the high mark for the team. Now that we've seen MVS fall from like that 70, it's just hard to get excited about that, even against the pass funnel, like just because it feels very like you're just trying to hit whack-a-mole, like pick the nuts, like where's Mahomes going to go with it? I mean, we kind of said the same thing with the Commanders last week, where it was like not as clear cut, but I don't know. It just feels like a bet on talent, bet on indoor conditions, bet on a trailing script. Like there's a chance that, Chiefs just do it with their defense and the ground and Kelsey tonight. You know what I mean? And there's no there's no garbage time stuff to be had for the Rice side for whoever else. I don't know. Yeah, I can see it both ways.
Yeah, I guess I can't say it enough, man, that I just don't agree with. I mean, not you. I mean, but like the totals and everything that I'm seeing here, like,
yeah,
I know the Chiefs defense is better this season, but like, are they really going to shut down the Eagles? Really? They're going to shut down the Philadelphia Eagles? Like, I don't know, man. Yeah. But after the Rashee Rice McLaurin decision, it's sort of like a break, and we have Lockett here, who didn't have a bad game by any stretch.
He's still hurt, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's still
probably a little banged up there.
So long.
Yeah, we'll have to pay attention to the practice reports here. But I've got these other guys queued up here. I really like the Green Bay receivers against Detroit in this game. Like I said, I really think that the script favors the pass catchers. I mean, obviously, a huge spread in that game. I think they're going to have to throw it. And we kind of talked about it when in this matchup against the Chargers, man. Like they if they need to sling it, like they will sling it. And yeah, Jordan Love hasn't had like awesome results, but man, he will take shots and he will do like whatever it takes. And I think if they're in a position where they have to sling it, it could end up for a pretty big day for Reed, Dubs, and Watson. It is so funny, man, the way things have changed. And now Watson is wide receiver 3 on the team in ADP. It's just like, what a fall from grace, man. And I can't say that I disagree with the order.
I'm going to continue to hammer Watson just because I just love to lose money, but I do think he does have a ceiling. It's kind of like the T-Law case. Like this is a guy we were drafted really early in best ball. We haven't quite seen it, but like his red zone target usage is absolutely absurd over the last few weeks. And again, with this guy, it only takes one. So if he's going to be third in the pecking order, I will definitely be overweight. Again, maybe I just love punishment, but we'll see.
No, I think that's like a good point. Like he's getting those good targets that you want, and they're probably going to pass a lot.
It's interesting because we see Christian Watson catch the touchdown last week, and you think that would be like old school football. bro science brain would be like, now the public's gonna like, oh yeah, he got more fantasy points, he scored that touchdown, like blah blah blah. But he did play the most amount of routes out of all of them. Though our boy Davis Manick, who puts out the tweet with the takeaways from the week or whatever, said they used Wicks a lot more this week, and Wicks would be like the replacement for him. So that's kind of like alarming to hear from that. But I'm looking at the utilization report right now. It looks pretty condensed. 70 for Dobbs, 84 for Watson, and 79 for Reed. Reed seeing like the most uptick over the last 2 weeks. The Reed stuff's interesting because they had design touches for him, right? It was that end around that he scored on. There was 2 shots deep down the field that they took his way. I kind of agree with the market here in a sense where I think Reed would be my favorite to play this week. But if Christian Watson's going to represent leverage, maybe he just hasn't been healthy this whole season, and we can cut him a little bit of slack, and they finally found him in the end zone last week, and let's get over leveraged on the talent that we thought he was coming into the season. So long-winded way of saying, like, obviously see both sides, but also see Wicks as like a super scroll the F down. How could you get there? Who saw that one coming kind of deal play, but not financial advice kind of deal.
Yeah. Maybe not so much in the 6-person like Monday through Turkey, like Monday through Thanksgiving slate, but in terms of this 4-person just Turkey slate where we have like, what is it, like 50,000 people?
45, yeah.
45, yeah. I am scrolling the fuck down. Like I'm gonna grab a bunch of JSN. I'm gonna grab if Watson's going undrafted. I don't know yet. I'm gonna have a bunch of him. I'm gonna have a bunch of Jalen Tolbert, who's like slowly taking Michael Gallup's role. And, again, Nez was saying earlier, we're like targeting this Commander secondary. If we see a slight uptick in Jalen Tolbert targets, and, I just said how bad the Cowboys have been over the last decade on Thanksgiving in terms of like covering the spread. If this game's closer and we actually have to like sling it the whole time, I could see Tolbert getting there. One of these weeks, JSN is going to explode. Like, he's obviously a talented rookie. Lockett is banged up. Like, he's going to go like 10 for 80 into one of these weeks, and people are going to be like, damn, how did I not see that coming? So I'm just going to continue to click his name, and, hopefully one of these weeks it turns out. But I'll be very overweight JSN on Turkey Day. I'll be very overweight Tolbert, Watson. A lot of these plays are just leverage plays. It's kind of like close your eyes and pray, but I'm not trying to split first. And again, 45,000 people on a 3-game slate. I mean, you really got to scroll down if you're trying to ship it solo.
Yeah, I like that. I'll throw some numbers behind your Gallup shout there. Week 6, Gallup played 82 or ran 82% of the routes. Then after that, 51, 49, 50, 45. So that's the since week 6 split. Now since week split for Jalen Tolbert, he went from 18%, which was, kind of a direct 1-for-1 in Gallup in that, and then uptick to 44, 43, 63, and 40. So yeah, definitely a little something there if you want to flip the build a little bit with, instead of taking Gallup or Cooks, get like a little Tolbert on the scroll down. The other one was the Seahawks one that you mentioned there, the JSN stuff. How about little Jake Bobo? I mean, 25% of snaps in each of the last 2 games, and they left him out there as the single wide receiver in the red zone when they ran off tackle left twice to Sharps, like just 2 god-awful plays once they got down to the red zone late in the third quarter, whatever, who gives a shit. But they left Bobo on the field was more the point, instead of swapping for like Debo in that set and subbing there. So just kind of interesting that they're showing that much faith in him in the red zone. We've seen him score a couple toe tappers this year. They obviously view him as something in the red zone if we're touchdown hunting late.
Yeah, I agree. I just question, like, what's his like true ceiling? Like, do you think he can go like 4 for 40 in one, or is it more like, this guy's going like 2 for 18 in one?
Yeah,
if he gets a red zone
2 for
look.
18 and 2, where he just happens to get the 2 red zone looks, but it's so thin. Yeah.
Do you know his 40 time?
It was bad, like 4.8 something.
It was like 4.95.
Oh,
just like, how the hell is this dude in the league? But hey, he blocks his ass off, and he's a big body in the red zone.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably too thin for me, but again, I'm gonna have a ton of JSN.
Mm-hmm.
and then the other guys I mentioned. I really think that Tolbert, I think one of these weeks we're to see like 70% routes from him, and I would not be shocked if it's this week against the Commanders.
Like it. Tight end, Nez.
Yes, back to tight ends here. Only one tight end from the Monday night game being drafted here because we have no Goddard. I mean, you can take Alberto if you want, but he is not being drafted at all. And instead, we have 5 other options behind Kelsey that are really viable this week. One of them being my favorite there down at the bottom in Luke Musgrave. I think Musgrave is like, for me, probably tight end 4, maybe 3. I don't want to completely poo-poo Laporta after a down game, but man, like Musgrave has awesome usage, and I keep talking about how the Packers are almost certainly going to have to sling it in this matchup. What are your guys' thoughts on just like these 6 tight ends here? We're pretty blessed as far as options go, and for me, it seems like we don't really need to force it unless somebody in your room is going bully. And I think bully tight end is like fully viable. I'm not going to be doing it, but it's fully viable, is it not?
I think it's fully viable in the 6-person. Seen a lot of GMs this morning that people have tagged me in with bully tight end. Pretty cool. I wanted to hit the Goddard one. I don't think any Philadelphia tight end is in play tonight. I mean, Alberto's been active once this season, and he's ran 2 routes. Like, that's just like all he's done this entire year. I think we probably see Jack Stoll, but in last year's sample of missing Goddard, it's just an uptick in Devontae, and it's an uptick in Quez Watkins last year. I think it'll probably be Zacchinius this year, but yeah, that's just kind of all I would say there. I don't know. Maybe they view Alberto as 1-for-1 replacement and he's active tonight and they do something like that. I just don't think in terms of like range outcomes, it's worth getting to. I like your Musgrave shout a lot more. So I would be prioritizing, that back end tight end there. I wouldn't be scrolling past. I probably wouldn't scroll past Musgrave. We saw like Shoemaker score the touchdown, just like such an anomaly. But I do kind of think drawing a line in the sand on this slate there at Musgrave kind of makes sense to me, unless someone goes bully and you get froze out. Anyways, Dave, thoughts on bully, and Nez, thoughts on bully?
I'm stopping at Musgrave, even on the Turkey Day slate. But I love bully this week, just mostly from a uniqueness standpoint. Again, 45,000 people. I'm not trying to split first. Like, I would happily grab Kittle and Laporta on the same lineups. I think the leverage you get in the uniqueness, I mean, it's such a huge field with just a limited amount of players. So I think bully tight end is actually a pretty good strategy this week from a game theory perspective. But
yeah, no, I like it. I would consider it with like any combination of these tight ends, depending on how what my options were at the time. But I mean, man, these are just like, this is where all the stud tight ends are. If you were drafting the main slate and you're wondering where the hell the tight ends went, they're all here. So that's why you're not seeing anything over there. I think that's a pretty good summary of just like the Monday night and Thanksgiving.
Can I give 2 more bullets here?
Good.
Tucker Kraft had 2 receptions and he looked a lot like Musgrave and then stepped out of bounds there, but he was gonna score a touchdown. It's a super scroll. It's not financial advice, not whatever, but just wanted to bring it up there. We could see Julio Jones get some red zone work with no tight end on the field. Sure. Just saying that as like range of possibilities. If we're looking to like just find our way into like one sneaky touchdown tonight, why not Julio in the red zone? Make your jokes about Julio in the red zone for years on end, but Julio in the red zone with Jalen Hurts might be a little bit of a different formula there. So, I mean, maybe a cheeky touchdown could be found there. And then the other one, I think I've forgotten already.
Damn.
Here, I'll take over for you while you think of your second point, and I might be stealing it from you. But in this Turkey Day contest, I don't think J-Mo is getting drafted a ton. He's gotten positive praise from Campbell. We've seen an uptick in routes the last few weeks. Again, leverage play that can break a huge play, and we might not see Jair again for like the 3rd week in a row. I'm not sure if he would even travel with him or even lock onto him, even if he did play. But I'm definitely gonna be drafting JMO, and just this dude can go 3 for 80 and 2 and just completely break the slate. I know I don't have to convince Nez over here about this play, but yeah,
no.
he's definitely on my radar. I think it's a good mix of leverage, and this dude can like magically spurt out like 80% of routes. So I will say DPJ only played. I think he only had like 2 routes this past week, and that could change. But given the short week and that he just joined the team, maybe save that for like the next week or the following. So I'll be in on JMO. Unfortunately, just burn more money.
Let's do it, Nez. Let's jump in something here. I want to read. Christopher had an interesting point from the chat that I just wanted to share. The Chiefs top 10 defense, top 5 in coverage. Teams only complete 60% of passes on the Chiefs, only 5.5 yards per attempt, 1,500 or almost 1,600 total yards on the season. So just interesting little nugget in general there that I thought was, kind of smart.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs defense is really underrated. My hot take for today is that Jalen Hurts struggles a ton. I think the missing, like having no presence of Goddard is gonna be worse from like a real life perspective than we anticipate. Here's my hot take: Jalen Hurts does not finish in the top 10 QB for the first time this season.
Ooh, so for the week, the entirety of the
entire week, yeah.
Okay.
So watch him put up MVP numbers tonight. Let's go.
Well, in general, it's been not a pretty outlying scoring week at the quarterback position, if memory serves. Like Trevor Lawrence is the highest scoring quarterback right now, and then there's just a whole bunch of guys that are like mid-20s. So for him to not finish as top 10, he's gonna have to have a pretty bad night. So that's spicy. I like.
I just think he struggled. It's a Chiefs game, in my opinion. We'll see though.
Okay.
We'll see.
It'll be a good one. All right, we're entering the PTTP, the primetime Turkey Palooza, since we just got done going over there. I guess I'm. Oh no! Sorry guys.
Hoops.
I just pump faked everybody because I got hit with a location detector. Knew me. That's blame knew me. Hashtag. All right. We are in the overflow. If you happen to make the first lobby, good luck. I need 3 more for an overflow. Here we go.
Sorry
about that, everybody.
This time. That's funny.
And we've got my custo ranked in here, but at least we can see ADP, so we're not like completely unfamiliar with what other people are likely looking at. And we've got our boy Roofing Man. Shout out our man Roofing Man. Bobby G, Big Poppy. I think Big Poppy had a pretty nice week, if memory serves me right. And Chris G, of course, the third member of the Dallas trio. There's more, but
gotta give another shout out to Chris G. I mean, like I said earlier, a vital part of my process each week is picking his brain along with Nez's. And man, I tilt so much. I tilt so much to this dude. So just all I do is bitch and complain to him. So shout outs to Chris, super sharp dude. And
did Chris just tell you to play Odell and Logan Thomas over and over again, or
basically?
Yeah, pretty on brand for him.
Yeah.
All right, we are okay. Draft just got kicked off, and Roofing Man's up. It'll be a shock if he takes anybody other than CMC, but we'll see what he does at 4. Okay, yeah, there we go.
Actually, that brings up an interesting question. Nez, I've only done a handful of these. Don't know how many you've done. What do you think in terms of like GM cancelable combo, like that sort of thing? It's just kind of like if Kelsey gets paired with CMC, that's it.
Yeah, I think the top 4 getting paired would be a pretty big red flag.
Okay, cool.
Any consideration for anybody other than AJ Brown here? For me, this is AJ Brown.
I mean, I think you can make a bullish argument for Amon-Ra, but yeah, I think AJ Brown's probably like the cleanest click. Man, Amon-Ra low key been the most consistent player in fantasy this year.
Yeah. Oh yeah, personally, again, this is based off my hot take, so I think the Eagles struggle. But Amon-Ra is top 5 in yards, receptions, yards per route run, against single high, and Packers use that at like I think the 3rd highest rate in the NFL. So again, I mean, regardless of defensive coverage, it's going to be on Amon-Ra's spot. But I think this week particularly, he can really nuke.
That's a good nugget, man. I like that.
So I don't really want to do Mahomes here. I think for me, this is either Pollard, Montgomery, or Devontae.
For the brand, bud. For the brand.
Yeah, let's stay on brand here. Let's hit playmaker.
We can't have Dallas Dave on here telling the shit out of playmaker. me losing a house, moving back in with my parents here on Tony Pollard's dime. We got to get it back, Ned. We got to get it back somehow.
Oh yeah, Pollard's not going to let you down. Not going to let you down at all this week. No shot. No shot. I will say, man, I think that Montgomery finishes. Like, I'm not drafting him this week because I don't want to have 100% Montgomery. I think Montgomery finishes RB2 this week.
You got to take that stand. I think that's a good take. I mean, this Packers rush defense is no bueno, and I mean, I don't know the historical splits how he's done against the Packers, but like just off the top of my head, like I remember the primetime game last year, he absolutely nuked the Packers. Obviously, that's just kind of noisy, but hey, I think if you have that take, you should definitely draft it that way. I think in these smaller contests, you got to take these stands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that. Can we talk about is Austin Eckler cooked, man? Like, what happened? Like that, we knew that was such a good spot for him. The rush defense is like so bad. He does nothing with the carries. Hayden retweeted or tweeted that video where he just looks like he's got no juice when he gets to the outside edge. Old Austin Eckler, you know, he looks like a poor man's Jalen Warren right now, boys. I don't know what's up with that. Like, he must be playing hurt is the only explanation I can come up with.
Yeah.
And the lack of receiving usage too. Like I took him in the pick'em with the 4 catches. We're on the clock here. No, sorry.
So Devontae comes back. The only thing that sucks is like I don't know that I want to do like a double without Hurts. So I think I might want to set up the we Dave talk about Debo. We got Debo Dave here. I think I'm going to take Debo and try to set up the Purdy stack.
Yeah, Chris is definitely not going to let you get Purdy, but yeah. Again, I'm going to be overweight Debo this week. Damn, Chris is going to have a good team here. But yeah, I'd go Debo.
Bet the Slate TV out here.
This team low-key setting up for a Jordan Love Musgrave skinny in the 5-6.
I love it. You don't have to convince me. Give me all the Jordan Love this week. Yeah, there goes Purdy. Show the board real quick. Why don't we go B-Rob and then go like Love and B-Rob or Sharp and then go what John said.
Yeah, I think that sets up nice.
Yeah, I think I'm B-Rob here.
I really think B-Rob has a good game against the Cowboys.
Yeah, the other angle is you do Terry, then you can do Howell, then you can do like Ferguson or something if it comes back. I guess thinking through other combos, but I think playing it through B-Rob makes a lot of sense.
I think the Commanders, I know their pass rate over expectation has been insanely high this year. I think this week their game plan is just going to be, established a run. And just like, because if they drop back, 40 something times, our pass rush is just going to absolutely murder them. So I think they're just going to ETR it here and feed B-Rob.
Yeah, it's interesting because the Eagles also have like a strong pass rush, but I think the Cowboys secondary just is like probably like that difference maker is that it's that much better than the Eagles. And like we've seen the Commanders have success against the Eagles in 2 matchups this season. This one, I'm not so certain that they're going to have that same success in the air. And I agree. I think if they can help it, they're going to want B-Rob to help keep that pressure off of Sam Howell, who takes just a historic number of sacks. It's going to be tough sledding for them. But I mean, B-Rob gets so much work.
Our rush defense isn't as good as people make it out to be, man.
Right.
Pass rush is, rush defense isn't.
Yeah, we're missing Leighton Vander Esch bad.
Yeah.
Always
turn me up
evergreen.
with a good. Turn me up. Yeah, evergreen indeed.
Turn
me up with a good point in the chat there that Sam Howell might just take 10 sacks.
Oh yeah.
That's
yeah.
I have a ton of Micah Depoy tickets, so I need him to just come out and drop 5 sacks on Howell's head. Because Myles Garrett is going to grief me.
What do you think? You want to go first? You want to go Musgrave Love?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm into it.
Yeah. Take the tight end first. They've already got the quarterbacks taken. Yeah, we're good. Sweet. Yo, I got one other like Galbrainy thought with this slate in particular, more so than the turkey one, I think. But just a way to introduce some crazy leverage and variance, and we don't know what's going to happen with practice reports come tomorrow, whatever. Like this is, remember the T Higgins situation, right? Where all of a sudden something crops up on the Wednesday, and Tyler Boyd becomes one of the best values on the slate, but nobody has access to him on a Monday, Thursday because whatever. You know what I'm getting with the analogy?
Mm-hmm.
Punting your running back and your secondary flex position, and then just double tapping Walker and Aaron Jones with your last 2 picks. If you're playing this slate at volume, or you're playing, even 50 entries, I think you got to take the kind of like basketball draft mindset and definitely consider it in at least 4 or 5, and then be mindful of your swap leverage, which you can create from there.
I love it. The few DBQs I've done this week, it gets so ugly in the 5th and 6th round. So I've just been taking T Higgins, and if he's out, I'll just swap him out later in the week when I have more information. But I think that's a great point.
Yeah. And I think let's see at the end here, Nez, what we're left with in terms of like swaps. Like obviously you would take 2 of these players off. Oh, sorry. You would take 2 of these players off the board, and then I can kind of reverse engineer it. You would take 2 of these players off the board, and then you would kind of be left with Julio goes tonight.
No Jalen Tolbert, huh? You guys just hate money.
Yeah, I mean, like you could still get to JSN with a swap there. I mean, you could do something. Yeah, AJ Dillon didn't go, did he? Oh, 5th round. No, sorry, he did. Yeah. He did.
Yeah. That's the tough thing. Is like I don't know who I would like swap to if those guys aren't out. Right. And if they are in and they're like limited, then you're like, shit. Like, why didn't I just like take a lottery ticket?
Yeah, maybe it's just 1 or 2 lineups you could consider doing it with. I mean, it's something I would do, but yeah, it's super thin.
It's pretty early in the week, but I'd be shocked if Walker plays.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm. Based on an oblique strain, that's tough. You got to play Thursday after like an injury like that kept you out all game. It doesn't look good. Let's go ahead. Go ahead, Dave.
Isn't that the injury he suffered his rookie year in the preseason?
It was a hernia.
Oh, hernia. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Which, like, abdomen.
Yeah. General area.
It's tough.
Let's rip some turkeys. This is
I was gonna say let's get a turkey in here. Snapfield, of course. People are hungry for the turkey.
People are hungry for the turkey.
Of course they are.
Oh man! All
right,
stuff in
Drew. Shout out Drew, friend of the show in here.
Nice.
King Dingaling.
Sick name.
Got to be on the sheet. We're
gonna have to re-up the sheet just in general soon, because there's a lot of players coming to the forefront that need a little more respect thrown on their name, and we gotta push your boy down a couple of tiers too.
You're in the Badge Bros tier, so you're not getting like any accolades or anything. We're just like we're in our own tier. Yeah, we're in the don't yell at us.
Is Crash Rich and Beretta on that? Okay.
Oh yeah.
God, dude.
Beretta's might be on the Mount Rushmore if I'm not mistaken.
These dudes are so sharp, man. It pisses me off.
Yeah, you know what's weird is we haven't seen Feed the Freezer in a minute, man. I haven't seen Feed the Freezer in almost anything.
I did see him in a couple contests yesterday.
Okay.
But no volume. Yeah. So I don't know if maybe there's like a little freezer that just arrived. We're just gonna make up narratives about this dude's life. I think he's got a kid and a newborn, so that's probably why he's not drafting as much. He's being a good father. I don't know, because he refuses to come out of the shadows and say hey to us, so we don't really actually know anything about this dude's life. But I'm gonna assume that he's just being a good person.
Do we know anything about Crash Rich?
No.
I mean, we're to find out soon. Nez,
he better show up. He better show up, because it's not like mandatory to show up at Miami. So I'm hoping he does. All right, waiting on this next pick here. Again, we've got my ranks, which don't deviate a ton off of ADP really, but got some leans and preferences in here.
Let's see if we okay.
This isn't like cut and dry by any means.
Yeah, I would probably just rip one of those running backs, and then again, I'm taking a massive stand against Ayuk. I've already, I made my money off him this week. It's time to pivot. I personally would go like TP and Debo, but hey.
Okay, I think I might go Ayuk and Pollard.
All right.
Okay. We're 2 for 2 on Pollard drafts.
Let's for sure take TP, playmaker.
Playmaker.
I think you stick to your guns here, Nez, and you make that David Montgomery stand.
Yeah.
That's what I was considering as option 2.
Yeah, let's see what it looks like. You make your David Montgomery stand. You're on the record of saying, one of your favorite mispriced plays. Let's take him at the corner here and then see what it looks like.
Yeah, I think it's time. I want to do more T-box stuff where he just goes full alpha on his exposures and just says like F you, like this is my guy this week and I'm building around him. That's how I want my David Montgomery exposures to look. Updog asking about no ADP. Just with the 4-person contests, they don't have ADP. Something that may be implemented in the future, but for us at this point, it offers a point of leverage. So you can use this to your advantage. The fact that there is no ADP. I think. Go ahead, John.
No, further additive to, scroll back in the show. Nez gave us the Nez nugget of the day there, where save the ADP from the 6-person contest and then juxtapose it to these ones here. But also save the projections right now, because these projections are going to change over the course of the week. And you got to think back to, well, what did draft boards look like early in the week with the projections, and then see if they change, later.
Yeah, really good point. I do have to bring up this comment from Termino because it is killing me. He says he feels like a meal in the microwave when John looks deep into the camera. Yeah. Am I hot pocket?
Is the popcorn ready? Is popcorn popping down there?
All right, let's go. We're done at running back. Tight end, I don't really feel the need to go for. Are we doing Metcalf? Or we what do you guys think?
Laporta and Kill off the board?
Laporta's still there.
Laporta feels like it depends how Galbraith you want to get with the tier break. But Laporta with Montgomery feels like a good mini. And then the DK feels good, I guess.
I will say Laporta splits on man versus zone. And again, it's just like a little reference point, and you can use it for tiebreakers, but it's way better against man than zone. And Packers they might lead the league. No, Seattle does, or Panthers. They're like top 5 in zone usage. So just saying. Okay. Up to you, Nez. You click whoever.
I'm gonna go Scary Terry.
Okay.
I just think as far as like raw projection goes, I think he leads the pack here by like a sizable portion, and by sizable I mean more than like 2.5 points, which the rest of these guys I think are going to be pretty neck and neck projection wise. So it leaves us open to as far as like stacking goes. This guy, Dingling clearly setting up some golf stacking here. So we're gonna run DK and Terry, and then might even fuck it, run it back with the Musgrave and Love. We'll see what comes back to us. But there goes Charbs at pick 15, which is interesting. Before Brian Robinson.
He's basically a 1-for-1 replacement for Ken Walker at that price tag. Maybe Ken Walker goes half a round earlier just because it's Ken Walker, but that's basically a 1-for-1 swap, right?
Yeah.
I might even say I like Charbs better, in similar situations.
You're sick. You are so sick.
I think if Seattle can hang in the game, I would probably lean Walker. But if this gets ugly, the sharp stump offs can just get you there.
Sharps looks like Ken Walker has it not been like a little bit inefficient?
Yeah, but that's kind of it's always been his play style. Just like home run
hitter.
It's like Saquon almost.
Yeah.
All right. Are we going Love?
Sorry, yeah.
Musgrave?
Oh, we're doing it.
We could do a little bit of
you could
Commanders Nugget where they don't, Cowboys aren't going to cover. This could be a little bit of a shootout. I'm sorry for not showing my draft board. I think we're going to mix it up here.
Yeah, let's do the
Commanders double.
Say Tony Pollard gets there, 3 touchdowns, and Howell just has to rip it.
Speeds up the game, and these guys just end up chucking.
I don't think
Okay.
Pollard's capable of a long touchdown anymore, but yeah. Like actually, like it's so sad, man. Hopefully that missed tackles thing was a good indicator that he's like playing better, getting healthy. But I mean, there's just no way this dude gets a good contract after this season.
Yeah, the touchdown was pretty, at least.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
bowling guys over. Not a lot of shiftiness, kind of channeling his inner Zeke with that. But
he kind of looked like Pacheco the way he was like raising his legs, just so angry at life. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
damn
just like
touchdown already.
trying to crack the earth with his strides.
Yeah,
It's funny that you bring up the maybe not get a good contract after this, because I was thinking through a little bit of how I would go back to the well on Tony Pollard the same way I went back to the well on Lenny Fournette this year, of like, who's the running back next year who is unsigned for the early portion of BBM that I just keep clicking over and over again. And dear God, does it feel like Tony Pollard?
I can't already
That is
see
a
it.
hilarious compare. Like, come
A
on, man.
1 year-
Lenny's gonna be streaming full time here soon, just like us.
1 year, $5 million deal. He goes to the Bucks, averages like 2.9 yards a carry, and then it's just over. I mean, it already is over, but
All right, this draft just finished up, and man, like, just a testament to how awesome this slate is. I mean, the last pick is Brandon Cooks, and I mean, say what you will about Brandon Cooks, but like, none of these teams are gross. I think everybody here has a pretty nice team.
the leverage you can get on some of these dudes, like Christian Watson, JSN. I'll be on an island with Tolbert, just trying to like chase a breakout game from him. But I'm liking how this slate sets up. I mean, obviously, most likely outcome is just going to donate, but I'm really trying to find these leverage spots with these undrafted players.
I mean, the entirety of outside of Jaden Reed and AJ Dillon, all of the Packers went undrafted in this room. Brandon Cooks did go, so just like ignore him there. But like outside of that, I mean, I think JSN, Dotson, and Samuel have interesting leverage. But I mean, it is a pretty condensed player pool, man. It's just a matter of how you construct the guys that are being drafted.
There's just no way this doesn't split first if some weirdo doesn't like Tolbert goes off.
I think for it to not split, I think it's going to be like a Geno game.
Yeah, I think there's enough depth at the quarterback and tight end position that not chopping. I mean, maybe we got to think through like those back end skinny stacks that could get home in a different way, or maybe bully tight ends even viable on this one, because like you can't tell me that Sam Laporta, like the pairing of Kittle and Laporta, wouldn't project almost as well as like some second and third round pairings of like Lockett and Sharps.
Yeah.
Or, like that's going to be a close 2v2 or closer than, Scary Terry and Lockett versus Kittle and Laporta. Like Kittle and Laporta's projections are lower on the site right now, but I think when you get like some models coming out, that's a really close 2v2, and that's a way to not be duped for first.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm going to be heavy on bully tight end this week.
Interesting.
Yeah, man, these contests are awesome. I'm gonna be in here a ton just to like recap what we have in store for this Thanksgiving slate. This primetime Turkey Palooza will fill. It's gonna fill pretty soon. We also have the single entry for that same contest. We've got the big turkey, the tiny turkey, the early slate, cranberry sauce, the late slate, the stuffing, the 1st and 10. This is an awesome format, by the way. 10 max entry, top 10 win. A nice little super top heavy format that differs from the nice flat ones that we have going on here. Very sweet. And then of course our pick 6 plus a fullback dive. Oh my gosh, man. I'm out of breath.
Man, looking good. I'm gonna be in all these lobbies. So hey, Nez, you wanna show these people how ugly this week is and rip a dog bowl?
I got time for one dog bowl. I can do a dog bowl. John, do you got time for a dog bowl?
No. How about you guys rip a dog bowl? But can you bring up the rankings for 1 second? Because I want to kind of close the book definitively on the Thanksgiving slate. And I want each of us to give like our favorite misvalued piece right now and our favorite scroll the F down. I think I know the answer for some of us, but Nez, you go first.
Yeah, real quick before I do, just shout out to Hope and Numi one time. As you can see, man, on a typical slate where there's no ADP, quarterbacks would generally be sitting at the top of the queue. whether this was done manually or what, we've got like the 3 top skill position players sitting at the top. So that way you don't get any sort of like funny business in your rooms. So I think that's really awesome and really well done there.
Can I just explain that one level further there, just for anyone who doesn't recognize on some of these showdown slates and stuff? When you just find yourself in a room late at night that someone auto times out or whatever, when the quarterbacks are at the top of the queue, it's the number one way to obtain a GM from the 104 draft slot, basically, is what you're alluding to. And now if those timeouts happen, they actually coincide with who the majority of the field would align with you think the 1, 2, and 3 picks actually are. So yeah, good shots.
Yeah, and then what was the first one in here?
Your favorite misvalued, and then your favorite scroll the F down. Our guy Ryan Hodge is in the chat here. Pour one out for him coming forth. We were talking about it earlier there, Hodge, but yeah, he's saying Michael Gallup as a scroll the F down winner this week. Spice.
That is fun. Mispriced for me is Montgomery. I've said it, and I'm gonna stick to it. Montgomery, man, I think in a script that they might be looking at here could really just have a hell of a day. It is a little risky because it's very much like a 1A, 1B split right now, and 1A, 1B is interchangeable. But for me, man, Montgomery feels extremely safe as far as misprice goes for me.
Like it. Dave, who's your favorite misprice?
I wouldn't say. Can you scroll down or just show me the running backs or just the flex players? Nice.
Got you.
I wouldn't say mispriced, but I'm just gonna flag plant Debo.
Okay, I like it.
And my scroll to F down guy, I will be chasing a Jalen Tolbert game against this horrific Washington secondary. I don't think the role difference between him and Gallup is gonna be that much different moving forward. And again, high pass rate over expectation against a garbage defense. He's not going to get drafted at all. I can see him going like 5 for 60 and 1 and being the last guy you need.
Cool. I think my favorite misprice right now, somewhere between Brian Robinson and Sharbs. You could throw AJ Dillon in that mix too, as what we alluded to earlier, that just like no healthy bodies around him kind of deal. But I think Brian Robinson feels the best of that group in terms of like just 5th round value you can capitalize on. And my scroll the F down would be Green Bay skinny stacks in the 5th and 6th round with Love and pass catcher. I think I would rank them Reed, Watson, Romeo, something like that. But I think that would kind of be my favorite point of leverage right now without Love getting drafted as much. And, without those pass catchers going as high, that's kind of my scroll the F down. Now, what's your scroll the F down? You said you're Montgomery. What's your scroll the F down?
Ooh, if I'm scrolling the F down, I think it's probably going to – I'm with you. I really like the Green Bay skinnies. Bottom of my queue here, give me a little JMO, man.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my second option.
Again, Slate Blake ceiling late.
These clicks are ugly, but in such a large field, and these guys aren't getting drafted. Just close your eyes and just pray. Yeah, I think if you're going to be maxing this or doing a good amount of volume, I think, despite how ugly of a play they are, you need to be smashing Geno and Love just for the leverage spots. Again, most likely it won't work out, but in the scenarios where it does, you're going to be shooting up the leaderboard.
Love it. Okay.
Like the call.
You guys jumping in Dawg Bowl. One more for the Dawg Bowl. Johnny Basketballs, appreciate the love on the haircut. My co-host did not even notice. He did not even say anything nice about the haircut.
I'm a bad partner.
Appreciate you being here, Dave. Appreciate our guy Naji joining us early there. Really cool story. If you guys weren't here earlier, I effed up the time. We started at 2 p.m. Eastern. Sorry, we're all over the place today. It's my fault and electricity's fault. But these guys are gonna square up Dawg Bowl and call it there. I'm gonna bow out here. So big shouts. Good luck to everyone tonight, and we will see you. Maybe something tomorrow, Nez. Maybe something Wednesday. We'll talk.
Yeah, TBD, but definitely one more something before we celebrate with the loved ones for the holiday. Even though you already had your Canadian Thanksgiving, but we'll let you have this one too.
It just means I get to celebrate twice, baby. Stuffing the 101 of sides for Thanksgiving. All right, peace, guys.
All right, see you, John.
Boy.
All right, Naz, I get the influencer straight off the dub, 101. That's just rigged.
Who runs better than you, man, right now? I mean, dude, just on fire right now. Like, you're a little bit of smoke behind you in your room.
Begin. So the way I've done 4 or 5 of these so far. So the way I'm approaching this slate is, you'll see in a bit, but the fall off from QBs is absolutely horrific. Don't care what order you put Patty, Jalen in. They got to be the top 3 picks this week. Because after you get past CJ Stroud and T-Law, you're going to be, paying your shekels out because it gets ugly. Dude, get that away. Don't even. You don't want
it. I can't interest you in a little Kenny Pickett.
Oh, man. Danny DeVito, as many career 2-touchdown games as the king, Kenny P.
Dude, unbelievable stuff. And you'd be surprised, man. I mean, you know how it goes when you have Homer fans, and not that it's almost like a reverse thing. Like, there was a lot of people in the Dallas area that would shit on Dak if they didn't win or something, in Pittsburgh, man. I mean, I'm in Dallas, but I very much have ties and tapped into the Pittsburgh media and the market and the fans. They are bending over backwards to make excuses for Kenny Pickett. It is absolutely absurd. Need this dude off my team sooner than later, and I need it expeditiously. It is tragic having to watch him every single week. You just know that your team just doesn't have a chance in the world. Watching a guy like him play, it is absolutely abysmal. But I digress. I think you made some good points to the quarterback, though, man. I looked at QB. This is my first time actually looking at the main slate, but man, oh man,
what is going on? Oh my God, you're gonna give crutches Jalen there? I know he is fucking happy about that. Damn,
she's in ear to ear right now.
This doesn't get thrown out with Swift going this early. Probably safe. We'll see what he does in the next few picks. But damn, Jalen at 7 is a gift.
That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy.
And he's probably going to be able to tap in with Devontae Smith. And, I figure by the end of the week, I know ETR is going to project the QB super high, and getting Devontae Smith paired with Jalen's probably going to be a little tricky. So good for crutches there.
Yeah, he's going to have a nice team there. I don't think this gets thrown out. I mean, it's just the nature of drafting on Underdog. Sometimes you get some dumbasses in there. You can put on your tinfoil hat, let the conspiracies fly. But a lot of the times, man, these are just dumb dudes. No offense. I mean, I'm not saying that DeAndre Swift can't get there, and I'm not saying that Trevor Lawrence can't get there. I kind of am. But it just you can't just ban somebody for not drafting how you would like them to draft.
Right. Yeah.
Just off my high horse here. Hey man,
I think there's one way you got to play this.
I think I'm absolutely drinking the Kool-Aid on the QB stuff, and I mean you can make a case for Kyler, but hey man, CJ Stroud is getting MVP talk, and he's facing the Jaguars, who he absolutely torched early on this season. So let's go back there, and now. From here, I could do the Dell stuff, and I mean, how could you not want to? But dude, Puka without Cup, I think Puka might feast.
I'm personally right now I have Puka probably ahead of Tay, and actually no, not Diggs. I forgot they play Philly, or they play. They play Philly. I would go Puka there.
I'm a little spooked. I know that Cup's got the lower ankle stuff. I chickened out. I went Dell.
I think from your draft position, and again, you haven't done any of these yet, but I think
I have not. This is my first.
Nico and Schultz are pretty available at that.
That's what I think too.
3-4 turn for you, and again, I know Tank Dell's just an absolute baller, but I think it might be a Nico week. Just off gut take, I need to do a little bit more looking into that. But
yeah, that was one thing that I was considering, is how available Collins and Schultz I was assuming were in this draft. I mean, they kind of always are now that Dell has really established himself. Mm-hmm. But the reports are kind of making it seem like there's a chance Cup can play in this upcoming game against the Cardinals. They're calling it a low ankle, but I don't know, man. I think that his price is only going to continue to crater, and a lot of talk about Cup just being washed, which I don't know that I can go that far.
Yeah, I don't think he's washed, but there's definitely something up. I don't know if it's just the offensive environment and he's just dealing with nagging injuries, but I mean, before he got hurt yesterday, he almost had like a great stat line. He dropped a super easy TD that he catches like 90 times out of 100. Yeah, see, we got crutches here going Jalen Smitty. So, God, I'm jealous of that start.
This is interesting here. Yeah, that is going to be so tough. So tough to get. Interesting to go Ingram and not Kirk or Ridley there. I mean, this is a red badge, so little, do you, man, do you? Our Swift drafter goes Cup. Have no fear, I suppose. Let's see what Will Friedman leads you with. I'll pull up the player pool once we see his draft, so we can get an idea of what you're looking at. Do you have ranks up, or are you just going by ADP and knowing what you like?
I never actually set ranks. I always just leave the ADP as is, and I just in my head I have just like understanding of what I like. Right here, again, I was kind of saying how like the onesie positions get so hideous this week. So right here, I'm gonna go Kincaid to stack with Jalen.
Nice.
And then this Colts secondary that we continue to attack. Mike Evans ran kind of bad with some couches yesterday. He had 12 targets. Yeah, 12 targets. So just gonna pair him up here.
I like that.
And see what we got going here. I'm probably just gonna be super bullish on Mike. I mean, Godwin's going pretty late, but I think Kenny Moore is a pretty legit slot receiver. And granted, Godwin isn't running all his routes from the slot, but again, a lot of these times where there's like a tandem of players like Debo, Ayuk, Mike Evans, Godwin, I really like taking like really strong stands versus one side. Like this past week, it was Ridley Kirk. I was all in on Ridley. Didn't have a lot of Kirk, despite the projections leaning towards Kirk. But yeah.
No, yeah, some good points made there, and I'm always going to be Evans over Godwin. I mean, he just looks like awesome and just like one of the best picks in best ball this season, which is like really surprising, given that Baker's throwing the ball, but Baker doesn't look half bad. Just to touch on this start here, man, I think looking at the slate, absolutely agree that like these QBs, just how thin QB is, that like you got to prioritize them, and Josh Allen would be my 101 as well. Going up against the Eagles, dude, I mean, they're one of my favorite targets in fantasy, whoever's facing that Eagles pass defense. So really into this start that you got cooking here. I'm going to see what happens leading up to my pick, and then I want to share with the people our BBM that we did, because man, we ran bad, but like we have a nice team.
Yeah,
it really was nice, but we ran pretty poor with injuries. We did that nutted A-Rich Danny Dimes start, and RIP.
I want to say like 20% of my teams across DK and Underdog have that like round 10 pairing, or 9-10, whatever it was, pairing of A-Rich and Danny Dimes.
Oh, it was just too pure, man. It was just right there every time, just so perfect. Like why get the cow? Why buy the cow? You get the milk for free with your elite upside from both those guys. And man, oh man, did that just fall flat on its face, but not really our fault.
And that was such an ugly area of the draft. Like, yeah, like Fry here. Yep. I'll let you.
No, it really was though.
Basically the only one off the top of my head that's really smashing from that area is B-Rob. And everyone else is pretty much dust. So, dude, I think going QB, yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. It's absolutely fucked.
What is this? Yeah. Darnell Washington? Who's doing that? I haven't even drafted it. You can't even blame me. Oh my Lord. Okay, I'm gonna take a look at running back here. This is also really bad. Oh, we've got a.
Yeah, Kyron. I've so much money invested in Kyron, or whatever.
Is it? I thought it was Kieran, and then I heard Kyron.
Dude's a baller. I need him back so bad. He's on like 20% plus of my teams. So please come back and just revive this offense.
Oh God, dude, this is ugly as hell.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you. I mean, obviously the ADPs aren't fully set. So like, I don't know why Darnell Washington's ahead of like Mayer or Hunter Henry.
Yeah, that just seems silly. I think this might be a decent week for a double stack, given what I'm looking
I don't mind that at all.
But like as far as running backs late go, I guess I could do. Yeah, let's just do the double, and then I'll figure this shit out later. I don't love this team already. I think this is a pray for a top 2,000 finish here, but
again, first one you got to dip your toes in the water, just figure out the landscape. My first one was a DTR2 in Joku stack, so don't be too harsh on yourself.
Yeah, like it's not like it's a good thing that Pitts is getting Ritter back, but I mean, like, whatever, I mean, it is what it is.
Show the stream our BBM team, and then maybe even pull up our 555 on DK. That also is just absolutely nutted with injuries.
It is. Oh, dude, it's such a good team too.
We had Warren. Oh my god.
Yeah, so we did the Danny Dimes Richardson, like I stated. We went Brees, Ken Walker, Jalen Warren, just like an awesome trio. Kendre was like part of this like New Orleans onslaught we did, and then we got good scores from Foreman. So I mean, just an awesome running back room. Obviously, like the Walker's trending down, and then we got the Cup gash, like the knife for Cup too, just like rip with Olave, like also underperforming, but like not necessarily like an awful pick because we're booing like this wide receiver room is dirty, man.
Yeah, this is really. I forgot how
Olave,
nice.
Debo, Pittman, Jacoby, Shaheed. With like some usable Palmer weeks and some usable Wandale weeks with Darren Waller and Juwan Johnson. I mean, I'm proud of this team.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Unfortunately, we can not capitalize at all.
Oh, dude, I know. We'll run it back. We'll run it back next year for sure. All right, let me pull up the Excel sheet of our 555 team. Have to go through Discord to find that bad boy because that thing was also just so dirty. Okay. Oh, you're about to be on the clock here.
Oh man, dude, this
just breaks your heart, doesn't it?
This is just horrendous.
We'll go back to it after you make your pick here.
Yeah,
okay, so Hopkins goes. Warren also goes in that round. What are you thinking here for your team?
Wide receiver is so. Man, I'm gonna have to. Is Marshawn Lattimore out for a while? He is. I'm gonna go Drake London here.
That's fun.
And then, this is so ugly, man.
Why is DeMarcus Robinson up here?
I don't know what.
Who is setting this? Who is doing this? Who is responsible?
I'm just gonna go Big Mon. Shout out OU. It's honestly probably my favorite OU players besides Sedarian Lamb.
Mondre.
Yeah,
that's fun.
Yeah, I love him. He was like, I think he was suspended like 6 games. His only good season for smoking, and then he came in against Tech and just dropped like a 300-yard bomb. It was. I love his play style. I've always been bullish on him. But yeah, we got Josh Allen, Ramondre, Mike Evans, London, without Lattimore, and Kincaid. So not.
I like that start for you.
Nothing too bad, but yeah, let's show the spreadsheet. This is a good squad. And
yeah, so this is our DK 555.
If we were able to advance
redacted 555,
yeah, we would have had so much playoff leverage with JJ and T. I think we were in first for most of the season until the 2 QB injuries happened. But I mean, look at those late round picks. We got a ton of value out of our final 4 and almost 5 rounds now that Ty Chandler's in the mix.
Yeah.
Man,
this was so close to just slam dunking, but like, thank God, honestly, I mean, like even Laporta with, like, we lose Andrews likely for the season, but having Laporta still here, doing the rare Pittsburgh backfield, just locking that thing down. Anytime you can lock down the worst offense of the league, you got to do it. But having Algier giving us some good weeks and Swift as well. I mean, dude, this team, if this team would have remained healthy, which I mean, you could say that about a lot of people's teams, but like, man, I have no regrets.
The playoff leverage we'd probably go JJT would have been pretty nutty, given that we got so many usable weeks out of Dubs and Downs that like we were smooth sailing. But yeah, quite unfortunate.
It is. We'll run it back.
We'll get a good squad. You're about to be up on the clock, and the board is fucking hideous. So good luck, my friend.
Yeah, I'm gonna absolutely need it. So thank you. I don't know that I'm gonna go 2 running backs. I'll tell you that much. The running backs are not pretty that are left.
There's one guy that I'm looking at that I think you must like auto click right now. We'll see what you do.
I mean,
I'm pretty sure you'll be on it.
I don't know, man. I'm kind of stumped right now. Like yeah, dude, I'm honestly like pretty stumped. I think I'm Sutton over, like, Rashee Rice would have been like a good pick for me. I was hoping to do. I think I'm gonna go Sutton here just because all he does is just catch touchdowns. Unless I'm like seeing something that like I'm missing here. And now I need my one running back.
Yeah.
McKinnon, James Cook. Dude, this stinks. Like, I'm not doing Naji.
This is my type of week. I'm glad I can 150 this week because this is where I think I have my greatest edge on these ugly weeks.
All right. I'm going to go James Cook.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think he was an auto there. I think he should be a tier above everyone else right here. And just like my feeling for the ETR projections, he's going to be, if I had to guess, like top 40, maybe even higher after we pull out.
Certainly not 61, so, right? Like,
yeah, no, that's a great value. I almost went him, but I have a maybe different plan. Oh no, Gabe Davis already went. Yeah, I didn't want to triple stack the Bills, and damn, Crutches has a nice ass team.
Little run back there with the Gabe Davis. I mean, I really like that in that
squad.
matchup.
Fuck you, Crutches, man. God,
Crash Richard's a decent team too.
Yeah, I
admittedly
I track a lot of like these sharp players lineups just to have
a good
feel.
You totally should.
And I definitely track Crash Riches. He was very in on the Stafford doubles last week. Stafford, a Cup, and Puka.
I liked that matchup too, man. I mean,
but he was also very in on Saquon. Very in. Like he was drafting him like top 35 before the rankings came out. So sharp dude, obviously.
Urbanic started off with a weird team, but I think he finished, decently well. I mean, say what you will about Pop Douglas, but I mean, he is one of the leading receivers for the Patriots as of late. So, I mean, not the way I would build, but I think he recovered pretty decently. Hodge finishing with the one-off Bryce Young, who I am a total apologist for, but man, oh man, that's funny.
So what I'm going to do here is I know
this is tough.
Normally I would probably just go T Higgins and just take the equity if he plays. He probably has a little value, and if not, I get the Q-Tech swap out.
Yeah.
But scrolling the fuck down, I like Jacoby Myers here.
Ooh, nice.
I know
that's a really good find.
I know the splits with him and O'Connell versus Jimmy have been a little worse, but I know last week he was on the Leone model, and he will probably make the appearance again, if I had to guess. And he's just someone that always projects fairly well. I mean, he has, above 20% target share. I'm not sure if that's the case with O'Connell, but yeah, we're to go Jacoby here.
I like that call. I'm a big fan of Jacoby, and like him, and getting him at the last pick in this Dawg Bowl, given this week. I mean, man, that's a bit of a blessing. So just to recap, rate off your team for our beloved audio listeners, which I will be servicing.
Started Josh Allen with the 1.01. I think you need to be taking QBs in the top 3 picks this week. Stacked it with Kincaid at the 2-3 turn. Went up with Mike Evans there. It's a good matchup against the Colts. Drake London at the 5-6 turn with Ramondre, and then Jacoby. So not a bad squad. I think Crutches here has, without a doubt, the best team. That's a beautiful draft from him.
Yeah, we'll just read off his team real quick. Crutches from the 7 hole managed to get Jalen Hurts to fall all the way there, and managed to get Devontae Smith on the way back there as well. So shout out him for that start. Takes Adam Thielen, Kyron Williams, Gabe Davis, and rounds it off with K. Dotton as his tight end. Not a bad final tight end there in the 6th round. So Crutches with a strong draft as always. Your boy, me, went CJ Stroud, Tank Dell at the 1-2 turn. At the 3-4 turn, we go Kyle Pitts. That was a bit of a panic click, admittedly. Went with the double stack with Nico with my CJ Stroud pick there. and then finish with Cortland Sutton and James Cook. Not bad for my first one, but definitely feeling unfamiliar with these waters. And man, are these waters just super, super ugly.
Yeah.
That'll do it for us, man. Dave, thanks so much for coming on. Congrats on finally winning your seat, man. I'm very, very happy for you. Hopefully we can get a couple other friends and family winning this week to join us down in Miami. And I have to say it. I say it every show. I can't wait to meet you in Miami, brother.
Miami knows it's Miami Dave now. I'm going to come for that 200K, but I appreciate you having me on. It's a fun stream here, and I'll be back next week after I grab my second ticket. So
anything you want to plug after this? No,
go sub to ETR. I'm sure a lot of these viewers already are, but yeah, man. Again, appreciate it. It was a good time, and I'll catch y'all next week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on. This is a great time. Thanks for sticking around with us. 53 of you still here. Really appreciate it. If you haven't liked this yet, go ahead and like this video. Go ahead and sub. We've got a lot of stuff coming down the pike for you guys as far as content goes. Some more solo hoop streams on the way. Just a lot of good stuff coming. A lot of membership centered stuff too. So if you haven't joined the memberships yet, I would highly recommend doing that. For John, for Numi, here with us always, for Dave, everybody's favorite time of the show, the end. Peace.
Peace, y'all.